Da, 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 da. We're live, boys. We're live.
Bio's here.
Bio is here. Welcome, everybody. It's blue. It's blue. Now.
Wow, look at this. It's full. It's filling up in here.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy.
We'll
Welcome.
do the sound tests.
We need to do the sound test. Welcome, everybody, to Addicted Podcast number 38 with special guest today, TheAstroPub and Mr. CrucianGaming.
Woo.
Let's do a sound check, boys. Let's start with myself. I've done mine. Test. Hello.
You gotta say, I know we're getting popular when we get these boys on. That's for sure.
Soundcast.
Woo!
It should be fine now.
Everybody wearing headphones is now.
Just literally.
Oh my god.
Everyone is now both concerned and aroused by me bringing the microphone.
Oh, and there he is.
How you
Hey
all?
crew, how you doing, crew?
Bio just put some pants on.
Yeah, literally. Let's get my underwear on.
Ay, ay, ay.
I'm trying to. How you doing, Bio? Welcome back. I know that big German, but I can get you off, baby.
Woo!
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Bio's been getting it pretty rough.
I'm sweating here. Like,
Always the run.
Let's start with what we've been doing this week, and we kick it off with Crucian.
Drop it in at the deep end.
Not much going on this week, man. Just same old working, streaming some Star Citizen, and playing some PUBG just like everybody else. You know, that's about it for me.
Waiting for the 3.0s.
Yeah, just waiting for 3.0.
Three po-
Bugs left, or I don't know. It's a Bugs life, so we'll see what happens.
We'll see where it goes. Miz.
I don't know. You always ask this and I forget. I don't know. I think I tried to stream Star Citizen last week and for some reason it kept crashing. Like I did about 3 steps and then the whole game just kept shutting down. I changed my user folder, deleted it, everything else just wasn't having it. I eventually managed to get the offline mode to work, so we did a little bit on that and showed off the Million Mile High Club for about the 50,000th time.
Very nice.
And then other than that, I bought Divinity Original Sin, so I've been playing that far too much.
Very
It's
nice.
quite addictive.
Mr. Biomechanical. Bio is new to the podcast, so welcome everyone for Bio.
yeah, I'm new here. Yeah.
New member.
I've not really done anything. I've
We
been.
noticed that.
That's not
I've-
true. Come on. By the way, one German thing you've done at least.
I was about to say, by the way, guys, Bio is sponsored by the Addicted thing. The only thing he's not wearing is the Addicted hat at the at the think he's got the pants on, the shoes, and the trousers, along with the
Pants
microphone.
on.
Microphone.
He's got the pants.
Song.
He's got the banana hammock, the Addicted Podcast banana hammock. You can get yours now.
Yeah, I'll give the link out at the end of the stream.
Couldn't be any more branded right now, honestly, with a hat. You need a hat. It's like literally.
Yeah, I'm sorry I haven't been around, guys. I've had computer troubles. I've been quite ill as well. I've still got the cough, not as bad as it was. So I will try and mute myself.
He'll
when
give
I
you
can.
he'll give you all a sample of it. By the way, the
Yeah.
Addicted boxer shorts are now open for order. You can pull a cord, a banana pops out.
Dropping you mean a pineapple, right? That's what
Or
you
the
said.
pineapple, tropical surprise.
Surprise!
Oh
Cool surprise.
my
What the
God.
hell is this on about? Go on.
Oh, you guys have to watch it in the past.
Well, I think someone can put a link in stream. It was some sort of a tour guide moment there that we had.
Tour guide, was it? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, we've all
Mr.
got characters. We've all got characters. So I'm going to sum it up. So basically, Saul is the tropical surprise pirate.
Yeah.
Bio is the tour guide.
I'm the tour guide.
Miz is the guy that's cleaning the universe. He just can't. He has to. Everything's got to be clean. He's literally just going to be wandering around
OCD.
cleaning everything. And I'm the salt mine.
The question about clean
Gladius,
is
yeah.
how the fuck can Miz clean anything when he's just stuck in the corner all the time? He has to actually leave his creepy corner that he's like, "Hey kids, you want to buy some drugs here?" Like with his trench coat, where he's actually naked underneath, or has like some sort of like banana hammock. He actually has a banana hammock with like one of those the elephant trunks. So he just like want to buy some drugs.
You can tell the AstroPub's
Mr.
been,
Peanuts.
He's been thinking about this
for a while.
Been thinking about this for.
Listen, man. You have no idea how much I think about Miz in the corner. It's just
Not flying, yeah? Just not flying. That's the best thing. Not fucking flying.
think about it almost as much as I think about Madness's notebook.
Oh, yes.
Juan Pablo, Pencils and Pochinki, what have you been doing this week?
Well, I've got a couple things. First, I'm sick, so I've got that going for me, which is nice.
Feel ya.
We had a special captain's table on the VerseCon Twitch to kind of promote VerseCon, which is it's like BritizenCon but in the US, and we're doing it the day after, the day of, and the day after CitizenCon.
Nice.
So this is like a watch party, and then for the day of, and then afterwards, the next day we have we have esports, we have fan panels, we have tech. We've got some CIG guys coming down, so it's gonna be a cool like meet greet, as well as like we're going to broadcast some stuff and record the fan panels to put them up on.
Where can the people order any tickets or information or?
Yeah, it's gonna be in Austin, Texas. That's the other thing. It's gonna be North America. So if you guys are in North America, it's gonna be versecon.com and it's gonna be, we're posting it on October 27th and 28th. So.
Cool.
Very nice.
Very cool.
Very nice.
I was about to say it's not like America doesn't have enough games events. You know, we in this country we struggle to get one. You guys are like, oh yeah, we'll have another one. It's fine.
Well,
yeah.
I think the answer is
You're so lucky.
Is that I think this year this is the first year in like 4 years that CIG has done 0 North American events.
Oh really?
Because,
oh,
they haven't been to anywhere in North America.
Step it up.
Because they have like 2 years ago they were at like all the PAXs, and then. They've been doing that for a couple of years. Then this year they stopped doing PAXs entirely, and they've only done Gamescom and CitizenCon, and both of those are in Germany. So, and then next year they may do CitizenCon in the US, we hope, but it could easily be in Manchester, and in that case there'll be no Star Citizen events in the US. So that's kind of, you think of the VerseCon as kind of a way to like BritizenCon. As a way to get community together to hang out. We're going to have some CIG guys there hanging out, as well as just the community and mixing and mingling, as well as some cool stuff to win and cool stuff to do. So
you going, Crucian?
No, I was going to say I'm surprised I haven't done E3 yet, since E3 is getting into the PC era now.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Unfortunately, I don't think Crew can make it because
Crew's not making it.
He's in the Navy, so he's still.
Oh,
2 months left, baby.
Yeah,
2 months left.
So he gets out like the week after.
No way!
The VerseCon happens, so
you can like hijack a vehicle of some kind, just kind of like
float on by,
make it detour it. Emergency. We need to go this direction.
There is a Navy base in Corpus Christi if you want to go to the armpit of the United States.
No. I'm good.
Very nice. Mr. Little Bit of Madness. Tell us, what have you been doing?
Up to? Usual stuff, Star Citizen. Last night I was streaming with Mac randomly. I decided to jump in with Mac in his drunken state on his birthday, which was quite funny. Watching him get more and more drunk, and then I was getting more and more salty with Star Citizen as I was playing it, which was quite funny because it was worse and worse. The servers were terrible. But yeah, that's that. And then a bit of trucking. Still, I'm literally addicted to this American trucking game. I just keep popping it on when I'm bored. And just kind of like
American Trucking Sim.
Yeah,
it's really good.
I just like it's crazy
play
good.
Euro Truck 2?
No, I only like American trucks. I don't like British and European trucks. They're a bit like.
Well, no, I mean like it's the same game as Euro Truck 2. The difference is that it's set in America with American style trucks.
Yeah.
But it's really good. It's really good, especially since they're going to be adding expansions to add more parts of the U.S. and like North Mexico and Canada. It's really cool.
It's so relaxing and just chilling. Like I can just chill out and just play it and just listen to some music and not have to, I can pause it when I want to pause it and stuff. It's cool. I immediately got the Transformers Optimus Prime You know,
truck.
that was like the first thing I did as a kid. I was like, I love Transformers, so I was like, that's the truck I love. That's the truck I'm getting. That's the truck I'm doing it in the Transformers, Optimus Prime. That's it, literally perfect.
The coolest part about that game is that you can actually like build up a trucking empire by like hiring other truckers to do jobs for you and then managing that stuff. You don't even have to drive trucks. You can eventually just like
make bank.
It becomes like truck management sim 2017.
I've got my garage is now up to the second of the last stages. I've got 4 employees. It's making me money now. It's fantastic. Honestly, I can't recommend. If you want a chilled out game,
He's been playing a little.
It's made me think about freight running in Star Citizen on an alternative account. It really has. I've gone, this will be fun.
It is quite literally, I think, the one thing that CIG should look for when it comes to like how do freight running right. Like they nail it. The guys who make the truck sims, Euro Truck and American Truck Sim, they know how to do it. And it's the reason why Elite Dangerous, so many people truck in Elite Dangerous, other than the fact it makes you the most money, is because they also took a look at what Euro Truck Sim did right and figured out how to do that. So.
The other one is the farming simulator I was looking at the other day as well, going. And then I was like, I can't do this. This is
that's farming sim is approved. It's approved by the Chancellor of Germany. So they got going for you.
Again with the German thing.
Bio.
Bio is approved by the Chancellor of Germany as well.
She did play it on the stage of Gamescom though. She played 2 games, one of which was Farm Sim, which is apparently ridiculously popular in Germany. Like.
Yeah, they're completely on it there. I think it's made in and forgive me if I'm wrong, I think it's made in Germany as well. But it's good, man. I played a lot of the salt farming sim, I played a lot of the...
That'll be me.
I still think they need to make like explosive salt asteroids, so you have to like mine it very carefully, otherwise they explode. They can name them after like you can have the Madness asteroid and the Paul asteroid and the Papa Dolvac asteroids. Like you go there and you can mine them for salts, but if you hit the wrong thing at the wrong time, then everything explodes and you die.
Yeah, I think salt should be the most valuable commodity. It has to be. just
it should be the foundation.
Oh, who said it? I think it was. The joke originally comes from Fairasalt, who said they need to name. It was it's Gray-Headed Gamer who said there needs to be a asteroid field in Star Citizen they call the Forums, and its main mineral is salt that you mine from it.
Spectrum.
Yeah, Spectrum.
This is Spectrum. The Spectrum fields.
Yeah,
Spectrum and Reddit, 2 different ones.
That would be. Do you know what I?
They could be 2 salt mining companies in competition with each other. Spectrum versus.
And in the Reddit one, there's a station called Station Dolvac.
Oh God, Station Dolvac.
Station Dolvac. Oy.
Right.
Where were we? Myself.
Let's shall we get cracking then?
We can get cracking. Shall I tell what I've done last week or?
Nah,
you don't need to worry about you.
Let's get.
What have you done? Uninstall
Who gives a fuck?
I've been playing with my pineapples.
Under the sea, I'm just playing.
No, actually, I've been playing a lot of iRacing. Finally got the license that I wanted. Started a race team. Gonna compete in this season's GT3 class with probably the Ferrari 488 GT3. I'm gonna have some fun in there and see where it ends.
When I popped into your stream last, I saw that you really go for it. Like you got the racing gloves on, and
we got the gloves on. We got the whole setup. We got the wheel. We got the pedals. We got everything going, man. I love it.
Yep. You know, ironically, that's one of the things that I really want to get.
Oh, it's so good, man! I got the Ubuntu Revolution with the Fanatic wheel on it. It's good, man. And you got really into it. It's madness, and especially because iRacing is very competitive. I think the top prizes there he goes. The top prizes in the pools are like 10 grand. Now we know.
You're the helmet guy.
I wonder why he was sitting on our podcast. It's like...
Miz, no fucking joke. I've walked through conventions with my suit on and everything, and people don't notice me. But the next day I bring my helmet, the same people will look at me and go, "You're Paul Shelley." I'm like, I'm just the helmet.
That's all they're seeing.
This is the only thing. Fucking goddamn it.
Do you get?
At least people know you by your massive helmet. So.
Yes, I do have the best helmet on Twitch. It is the shiniest helmet. People just love to touch the helmet. I love to rub my helmet really, really nice and soft.
Have you seen Zock's helmet before?
You know?
Zock has a helmet
then
as
it
well.
just opens, yeah.
Oh, Zock actually came to me before he got the helmet. He said, "Paul, I don't want to rip off you because I know you have a helmet." I'm like, "Dude, you're gonna use a space engineer's helmet. Just wear the space engineer's helmet." He's like, "Oh,
everybody get your helmets. There you go."
Yeah,
There he is. Put it on, Crook. Put it on.
See, he's special. He has the purple helmet.
Purple helmet.
Miss has an orange one.
Yeah, Fuels is purple. That's why.
For Fuels is purple, but it's just it's just funny that you have your purple helmet.
So I want to ask a question to the so Paul and Crucian. So you guys are yourselves. Do you find when you go to these conventions, do people come up to you guys and go like, "I thought you look really," or they say like the classic line of, "Oh, you're really different in 3D." Rather than in 2D. Have you had anyone say like kind of like being a bit weirded out because suddenly you're physically in a 3D form and they kind of think it's kind of a weird? Has anyone ever said anything like that to you guys?
Not exactly. There's like, "Oh, you're taller." It was like,
Yeah,
I get you're taller a lot, or you're bigger than I thought.
Like,
yeah.
I went to BrizzCon and the first thing someone said at BrizzCon was, "Oh, you're much fatter than I thought you really were." It's no fucking joke. It's no fucking joke.
No one believes I'm 6 feet. Even nobody believes I'm 6 feet. They're like, "Oh, you're like 5'5". I'm like,
I feel your crew. I'm 6'3", and people are like, "He's not 6'3", and then they walk up to me and they're like,
"Oh yeah,
holy fuck, you're 6'3". I'm like 6'3", 300 pounds. So, but I've got a little bit of dad bod going on, but people just don't realize how big I am because it doesn't translate well on screen. But like I'm a fairly big dude. And I think that's the reason why I get a lot of I don't get a lot of people coming up to me, but I get a lot of people looking at me like, "I know who you are. I don't know where I know you from." That's the reason why the helmet helps, because they're like, "Oh, you're the AstroPub. Holy shit, you're huge." You know, that kind of.
I have to agree with.
Helmet on, it's like embarrassing to go up and say, "Where's the AstroPub?" And they go, "Who the fuck are you?" It's the bloke in a suit, and it's like,
You know what it is? I have to agree with Sherman there. Meyer is a lot freaking taller than I expected him to be.
Have you not seen? Meyer is not just freaking tall. He's taller than I am. He's like 6'5". He's like a big dude. A tree.
Is it just that every streamer is actually tall? Do we actually have short streamers?
I'm a fat fucker.
Because Toby's tall.
Twerk17 is tiny.
The person who's really small is Sophie Girl. Sophie Girl is tiny. Sophie Girl is like 5'1".
Isn't there a picture of her next to, is it Commander Shepard, isn't it? And
it's Commander Shepard, who's like literally 7 feet tall.
Nice one.
Oh, good.
Shepard is a cop, and it makes sense that he's a cop, because you take one look at him like, I ain't breaking a law in your city. You're gonna crush. You'll just pick me I'll try to run away from you and just take one step and grab me by the one step, and it'll go like halfway across the street and grab me by my shirt collar and drag me back. Like, don't ever commit a crime wherever Shepard is, because he will fuck your ass up.
In the UK, it was 6 foot. I think you had to be over 6 foot to be a policeman. Something like that. There was like a rule like in the UK. They changed it, but it used to be you had to be over a certain height to be a policeman because they felt that you couldn't intimidate.
Giant helmet.
Couldn't intimidate. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah.
If you were too short, you just stuck one of them on. It's fine.
From what I understand, I mean, it could be a myth, but I believe it's true.
Well, it's like there used to be height minimums and height maximums in the military, like the Air Force.
And you can be flat-footed either. Yeah.
No. So.
Yeah, it'll definitely change.
Well, with Madness, see, the first time I met him, he was asleep.
What's that BrizzCon?
I don't think that's a story for Twitch.
Drugged. I was drugged. I had been drugged by Bio. That was the first time.
It was funny when Solitude was like trying to tickle your nose, and you just didn't wake up with any of it. It was funny.
It was pretty good, Madness. You were sleeping in between every damn match.
That's how I was staying calm to win the tournament. That's what it was. It leads my rest.
Did you put on a German accent, Manus, when Bio found you when you were sleeping?
Jesus Christ.
God damn.
Jesus
So this is a Star Citizen podcast.
Yes,
We're
it
trying to Star
is.
Citizen
Yeah,
for like
it
the
is
last-
meant to be. This is just a warm up. We're just warming
And
it up.
every
you know.
sentence comes back to me in
German.
Germany.
You haven't been here for 5 weeks, man.
I was just saying,
knew it
you
was
haven't
happening.
been here for a while. Like I think
this
I've
is
been on
Brexit
here more
edition.
often. I've been on the Addicted podcast more often than you have in the last 5
hell.
weeks. So
Come on.
Woo!
My
Let's
computer's
start
been
off.
broken.
Criticals,
Man flu, yeah.
blockers.
Critical
Bugs.
blockers. Okay, so how is everyone feeling? Like, I'm still a bit. All right, I'm going to start off with a bit of negativity. Please don't get me down. But they swept a few things underneath the old, underneath the carpet here when they said that, we've. Hey, look, guess what, guys? We're down to 26 blocker or whatever, 26 blockers, and then it's like, well, actually, but yeah, we've also kind of put some stuff underneath. And they didn't tell us what ones they were, and I felt a little bit cheated. I'd rather, if you're going to be open about stuff, just tell us exactly what's
How
going
do you
on.
mean? How do you mean that?
Well, the thing is, they didn't tell us exactly which ones were fixed and which ones weren't. They rearranged things and they changed priorities, and
Which
we
is a
didn't
good
know.
thing,
Yeah,
See it as
that's
it's
fine.
a positive thing, you know
But
what I mean?
again, it's like we've said before. It just leaves an element of doubt that I don't want the community to be able to latch onto and be able to kind of like. I don't want to be able to go like exactly what I just did. Go, well, but what about this? I want to be able to just go. Look, we're down to 26 guys. This looks awesome. Do you know what I mean? That's the kind
honestly,
Well, it's awesome, 26.
honestly, the issue is that we don't know how much they may have actually fixed 50 bugs. We don't know. They may have also fixed only a few of them. But the big deal is, I think, is that they've finally listened to the community, and that the community's been like, listen, just get it to the fucking ETF. You can put it on the fucking floor of Gamescom, but you can't give it to the people who are under NDA. And the answer is like, after a while, that excuse gets really tired and old. So at least if it's with the Evocati, they'll be able to test it with CIG, so that even if they find more bugs, at least the community says, okay, there are some citizens playing the game. As much as those people will get angry, it's like, oh, why are the Evocati playing? It's like, the Evocati don't play the game, they test it, because goddamn, our Evocati build's broken as shit.
Exactly. I think it's what Aaron said in the ATV as well. I want to bring it into Evocati with these bugs. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, he didn't.
well,
Didn't he
sort of.
also say he's going to use this they want to use this for the future as well? This whole critical blocker thing, and so for anything else comes out, they're going to use it on that as well.
I wouldn't have thought so, because once this is over and we've got the Delta patches, there shouldn't be that sort of big patch like that. So
Yeah.
I mean, I still do the big patches, but
I see what Sherman says here as well. It's a lot of work to every week reiterate what they're doing, what has changed, etc. And what I personally think, this is not something that Sherman says, it's obviously to keep them out of the line of fire a bit at the moment, because how it goes, man. Is the more information you give people, the more questions they're going to ask about it as well. I think
Mathis and I
personally.
actually had this discussion on a couple of captain's tables ago, where we talked about like, is it better that they give us a detail or not? And I think the honest answer is that is it worth the time, effort, as well as, and I know this is for a case has happened just before. They'll have a bug that they smash, and then it comes back a patch or two later, or in some cases they'll have a bug that they smash and then they patch in a PTU. Like, they have a bug in PTU, they find out it is, they smash it, and so then the next patch is good, and they patch it again, and that bug comes back because the bug is actually related to something else that they haven't been able to find yet. So at a certain point, how much detail do you want to go into with the bugs, when at the end of the day it's wasted effort? They're actually literally wasting time on writing out what the bugs are rather than fixing the bugs.
Exactly, yeah.
and you have to have someone to actually document the bug, haven't you? You've got to, this is what we're doing, so it's someone out of their way doing it. Sorry, Crucian.
No,
No, you're fine. Also, like in that state, like say they fix like 2 critical bugs, they can have like 5 blockers popping out of nowhere too. So like, I don't really look at that 26 number as 26. I look at it as 50 still.
Yeah,
One bug could be just
the potential. Yeah,
they're still going to have to fix the bugs that they changed
Yeah.
to the from those 50 that they've.
yeah.
I think that what they've done is they just decided to move some of their note. They've decided to unclass them as blockers rather. So it's like, well, this isn't actually blocking us from giving it to testers. So it's like moving it from one place to another. But yeah, everything's still got to be fixed, unfortunately.
Yeah. Do you think this is going to be one of the best Evocati builds that they're ever going to get, or do you think this is going to be pretty?
Not now, no.
Not now.
Not if that's what they decided to do, no.
Because Evocati has never been nice. Evocati's never been nice. Like, you're gonna have serious bugs, which will break everything. It'll, like, I remember there was a PTU bug that we had where if you stepped on a certain stair in Grimhex, it would kill everybody in the map. Not even kidding.
I like that one.
So what happened,
we should keep that one.
So eventually people would get wise to it, and so they would all go to Grimhex and like stand in a line on the top stair, and then one person would jump on that step and kill everyone. You could just see them go like dominoes.
So random.
So I guarantee you we'll have some funny and so just some straight up broken, because I remember there was at least one PTU where you couldn't even download the game. Like the game itself wouldn't launch. It took them like an hour to 2 to get them push a new build out so they could actually launch the game. So like PTUs and ETFs are not fun games. Like you don't want to have your first experience be, oh, I'm gonna boot up 3.0. I'm gonna go to planets, and I crash the second I get into my ship, or the second I spawn my ship.
Be lucky to get that far almost.
Permanently locked in your spaceship. I can't get out of my spaceship on the planet, and I can't get out of it. No!
A whole stream inside the spaceship with your favorite volleyball called
oxygen running out.
Yeah, with your volleyball called Friday.
Are we talking about Castaway here?
Castaway, yeah, basically.
Yeah, okay, I thought so.
Ship. It wasn't a volleyball, it was, right? Or a basketball or something like that. It was a special one, at least. The diff checker, boys.
Yeah.
Who wants to kick off with the diff checker? Who wants to have his go at that one? I know we had...
It's not that exciting. It's just some of the bugs I think that were causing the issues. Basically,
it's more just for chat, really. For anyone that hasn't seen it, here it is. I'll pop it in chat. There's a diff checker. Feel free to go through it. It's got it just basically highlights nicely some of the kind of the more detailed stuff. I'm not going to go into it. We bore the shit out of everyone, so we'll just kind of say that they're making good progress. They made really good progress this week. A lot of things fixed. Very exciting. I think we're still probably at least, I would say, another 2 weeks at least before I would say I'm getting really excited. Do you know what I mean?
I will also say it's important to understand that there's another thing that's going on is that like people are looking at what was on the master list and they're like, oh, the freelancer max is going to be in 3.0, and it's like, no, but it could be being worked on by in the main dev branch.
Yeah.
Soon.
Because they've got things where it's like things are being completed and being made, but doesn't actually mean that that's in the build that they're working on at the same time.
Yeah, it's just scheduled to start working or finish around this time, which may have been pushed around based off of needs of other things. So.
Yeah, I think that if you suddenly if they do finish a ship and then potentially they're so close to getting 3.0 out, I wouldn't be surprised if they just if it depends on what type of ship it is, I guess, but they might just go, they might have to just get 3.0 out first.
Well,
and if they've got the Delta Patcher,
do
you know what I mean?
Feature locked 3.0, so then even if it was ready, I don't think they'd put it in.
Yeah, I don't.
Because it just could, because what they said on the AtV and things like, you add one thing, even if it's like, this is bug free, there's no reason why this shouldn't work, and then you add it, and then it fucks everything else up. So no, I think they just want to fix what they got.
What those could be, though, is 3.0.1 patches as well.
Oh,
think about anything that's being added that's completed in terms of ships or other things, other completed assets that have been locked out of the change that are still in the dev branch. They can still be added later quickly because of the Delta Patcher.
Yeah, which is exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah, a lot of people are aware of that.
Really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. Okay, so let's move on from unless anyone's got anything else on they want to talk about the diff checker. I'm happy to roll on to the other things if you want to talk about the cockpit experience, I guess.
Yes.
Who put the bit in here on the diff checker, just so I'm aware of it?
Exactly. Who was that one?
I did all that cockpit experience and the mission system and all that.
Perfect.
Did you want to talk about? Did you want to talk about anything?
Does says Delta Patcher doesn't circumvent, sidestep proper branch patch processes and development. No, the point I'm saying is that because of the Delta Patcher, there isn't as much concern for you guys in CIG. I'm hoping about adding a ship with a 0. Or like a 3.0.x patch because it's ready, like we had with the Buccaneer. The Buccaneer was a 2.6.3 patch added.
Yeah.
So you still have to. You
don't have to do a massive build just to put the ship in. You don't have to send people a whole build just to put a ship in.
Yeah, it's just a patch. You still have to section off what a patch is, but it's not as much of a concern in terms of like bandwidth download and everything else like that.
Yeah, I mean,
that's at least our hope.
They might just say, no, do you know what, the Delta patch is just going to be for bug fixing and kind of that kind of stuff, and we're just going to carry on with keeping
like
it at 3 point. Yeah, exactly. We're just going to keep rolling in the main patches where the ships and all the main content will come in, and in between the Delta patch is just going to be for fixing bugs and doing balancing of weapons, and maybe they might drop in weapons and stuff and things like that. And maybe that smaller, maybe more game mechanic-y stuff to try and test and fix and move, rather like a bit like PUBG does. They drop in like new guns, new clothing, that type of thing. Rather than big ships.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Which would make more sense. It's a smaller patch, and it's not going to be.
The bridge will be lower, although I think Sherman said, I think in a previous episode of the podcast as well, that they're not going to use it to just pump everything in that is ready, but they'll still wait for, as Paul said earlier, for certain patches, point 1.2, whatever they want to do with it before they put server in. They're not going to just say, okay, ship comes out, let's pump it through. On a Wednesday morning or on a Thursday afternoon, here you have it. It's not going to happen, obviously, but I think the bridge will be a lot lower. I don't know if that's the right way of saying it in English, but the difference will be a lot lower because it's easier to bring it to the people. Obviously, eventually, when they
about a massive file size,
when they want to bring it in the.
And I will respond to Sherman at this point. He says Delta Patcher is a tech base of the distribution for the files. The size of what's deployed is irrelevant for that. Yes, Sherman, but the idea of having a Delta Patcher, you can't disagree that you guys literally did not put out patches in the past because of concern of the file size, download, and how much effort it's going to take. I guarantee you,
and money for the Amazon servers, obviously.
Yeah, I can almost guarantee you that there was a discussion somewhere in CIG that they don't necessarily want to put out tons of patches because of that. It's happened in the past.
Yeah.
So the idea of having the Delta Patcher is what the community is hoping, is that it'll increase even just smaller patches to add smaller things rather than having to wait for a large patch to add a bunch of changes. That's the hope. If that's not the case, you can tell us, which would be great, so we can complain to CIG more about actually doing that. Because there's little excuse that CIG should have for not making small changes or hot fixes over a long period of time.
So here's my next thing: quantum drive, because this is the interesting, because we've all been talking about cruise modes, and and they're obviously it's obviously something that they're having to do now because of the sheer size and scale of everything they're having to work on. The speed of everything, because at the moment they've shortened the time down from 5 to 10 seconds for quantum jumps for short jumps. And I'm just wondering where your guys are at in terms of do you think this is the right decision? How would you potentially, do if how do you feel going to be?
I think you can still have longer quantum jumps as well. I think it's just said that the short ones that they shrunk them down to about 5 to 10 seconds. But they plan to have obviously longer jumps so that you can get up and get around your ship and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean? Because obviously with we had WTF Saurus doing his 3-day kind of hike across the surface.
How did that end up? I missed that.
Which he had a few crashes, I think, but obviously it went quite well, and it was good. And I could see we talked about it last time. We could see the kind of the immersion of that type of gameplay, which is quite interesting. But I think they need to have the sim pods and everything kind of rocking on the ships to make it interesting if you're on your own. But if you've got your mates and stuff, with the basketball court for the big ships and some of the other fun things, mini games they're going to have is going to be good. But,
tropical surprises.
tropical surprises and like exactly all that kind of
Tour guiding.
Exotic
kind of stuff.
dancers, you know.
Exotic dancing.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like how much fun all that having a long trip's going to be. I'm just like
So, and I don't want to again do it, but I'm still gonna do it. So when myself and Drones played a lot of Hellion, and we did jumps of an hour, and they shorten it. You have a basketball downstairs. You're walking through the ship. You're just talking shite. It's good fun. It can be good fun if there are some elements that you have that you can use. For example, the basketball. What I used to do is, because I have OCD, I used to like the whole cargo hold. I would used to sort everything in the cargo hold on like color coding of the orange canisters, the blue canisters, and charge all the batteries for the mining drills. It's good fun, man. Even though it's an hour trip,
what's
still
going to be
have
the
something
ship
to do.
What do you think is going to be the best ship
My Bano
right
Merchant
now
Man.
for doing these long haul kind of like?
My
what do you think
Bano
is gonna be the
Merchant
best
Man.
ship? You think so, Vanek?
Oh,
Because
man.
I'm like, because at the end of the day, I don't think I'm going to want to do long hauls on like any ship. It's going to have to be, if I'm in a certain system, I'm going to probably building ships in this area, and then I'm going to want to fly a certain ship to another area. I can't. That's not my type of thing. It's going to bore the crap out of me. So I'm going to have like pods of things probably around the universe.
If you have a single seater, it's shit, obviously, because you can't
yeah,
really
exactly.
do a lot.
Yeah.
But I think if you're in a ship even of the size of a Cutlass or a Freelancer and up, you can do stuff, even though it might be a bit limited. But I think it should be more
I'm
than
interested
enough to do. Look at a Starfarer or
the whole
a
seas,
Reclaimer
because they're the
Seas,
lorries,
Ds.
right?
Exactly.
The whole seas of the lorries. So I'm interested to see what type of entertainment's going to be on the whole series to keep you entertained.
Exotic dancers.
Exotic, you and exotic dancers, tropical.
So
But no,
here's,
what do you
here's
guys
the
think?
thing: long-term travel is going to be heavily affected by a couple things: fuel and components. So if you're jumping between one place and another, you're not going to just go jumping from, like right now you jump from like wherever you are to the point where you're going. That's not going to be the case. You're going to have to jump to truck stops to stop and refuel. You're never going to be able to go one point to another point directly unless it's close by. And even then, you probably will have an issue with fueling, because you may be able to get to one place on one tank of fuel, but you'll have to refuel there if you have a chance to, and you may not be able to. So the truck stops are an important part for two reasons. One, it's going to actually be required because of jumping distance, but two, because of funneling players through specific areas. Space is huge. There's a massive amount of space. So having a line of truck stops along the most obvious or shortest routes from place to place makes it so that those people will go down those roads, which means that you'll have pirates will camp around those routes to try to attack, and so on and so forth. Like it'll create hotspots along the way.
It's going to be good.
The other reason to do it is during quantum jumps, you're going to want to have to repair. You're going to actually have to go in and pull out and maintain like your shield batteries or whatever. Like there's going to be some things you're going to have to do in your ship as you're going. It's not just going to be static. Right now it's static because you don't have access to your ship. But even in Hellion, like where they have different parts for each major system, it's going to be similar to that. There will be specific parts,
air filters, etc.
That you'll have to like pull out, maintain, put away, or double check to make sure it's good, because they could have faults in them, because you may not be able to check them from your consoles. So basic maintenance is going to be a key thing, and that's one of those things that'll fill up those times. And we're talking about like 5 to 10 minute jumps. Even in Hellion, that goes by faster than you think.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna have to rest, right? I mean, this is the thing. Is like we're talking. This is because I'm playing obviously this truck simulator game. So the main things are you get tired, you need to refuel, and your vehicle can get damaged, and you have to repair it. That's kind of like the three kind of things I can think of in terms of that I have to consistently do. I don't have to eat food, I don't have to drink water, but I do have to rest, and I do have to get fuel for my vehicle, and I do have to make sure that obviously it's repaired if it damage or bump into things.
I think an extra thing in space madness is going to be oxygen, obviously, as well. I don't know, do we have a generator? Are we going to get a generator, sort of a generator kind of?
Well, oxygen scrubs, like kind of like in like NASA type thing.
Yeah,
I would have thought the spaceship would have been okay. I mean, this is the thing about I was talking about simulation, and I just think how far should this game go on some of this simulation before it becomes painfully slow and painfully kind of like survivally, and just like I really will be just going. Can I just have an automatic button that does all of this?
But I have to be honest, man.
Macro it.
You know what I mean?
Even in Hellion, where it is very up simulation and very deep into it, it's still not slow. You get used to it. You know what I mean? You get used to things.
What would you say is a good? You know, what would be the longest jump time that you would want from traveling from one place to another?
45 minutes.
Yeah, I don't want to go any more than personally between 5 and 15 minutes is like enough for me personally. Honestly,
how long does it take for you to do a long journey in Truck Simulator? Like a long
20 minutes. 20. Oh, I haven't done the long ones yet because I don't do them. I haven't done that skill.
Yeah, but there you go. I think they should be there as well. You know, I've done drives of an hour, 1.5 hours, just for
so that's
fun.
your gauge. So you go from the extreme person, I suppose. So say Soul, for example, wants to do it for an hour, and I could be your non-extreme person that's more than don't want to go any more than 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Very extreme.
I think part of the problem is we need the ability to cater for both, I suppose. Like, and I think they'll do that anyway. So if you're I mean, like in terms
I wouldn't say that.
No, I mean like in terms of smaller jobs. So if you don't earn so much money, you can do smaller truck stop jumps or whatever. Whereas if you do the long haul stuff, you're going to earn a lot more money by doing.
There'll be people that will be staying local.
You earn a lot more for doing a very long-ass haul than you are for doing a short one.
There'll be people that don't want to go too far out, so they'll be staying locally and doing what you're saying is. They'll be doing that, and then there'll be people that will go the extra mile, and they'll get that extra lot of cash by doing that.
But there also is going to be a lot of parts in this game that's going to slow it down. This game is not a fast-paced game. It's a slow burn, and it's designed to be a slow burn. If you're in this game for instant action, you're probably in the wrong game, because this game has been designed from the very beginning. It's going to take time to load your gear. Like, you don't just buy gear and instantly it's loaded. It takes 5 to 10, 20, 30 minutes for your actual gear to be loaded in, which is why they have bars and they have other things to kind of fill your time with. You can go find other things. Maybe you can find other missions, or at least meet up with someone. It's the idea to force you to slow down a little bit. There are going to be, there's even like, they're adding in air traffic control. So like you're going to have to contact the air traffic control and get a landing zone. And that may take some time. It may be instant, maybe take a few minutes, depending on where you are.
Heathrow, you'll be in a circle for a while.
Yeah, so
circling for orbit.
So, even jumping, that's part of that whole experience. It's supposed to slow you down a little bit. It's not supposed to take.
That's why I was curious. Do you think is on these big gates? I mean, we're going a bit ahead of us as we're into like 4.0 territory. We haven't even got 3.0. But for jump gates, like, do you think there's going to be a situation where we're going to have to pay one? I was thinking a tax or a toll to go through these big jump gates, and two, will we have to be queuing up and paying some person at a door, like giving her a bit, wind the window down and like hand her a bit of cash to go through the jump gate effectively?
That's
and
bio
behind other people.
sitting there.
Because I was thinking that would be kind of cool if you actually had to kind of line up behind other ships and kind of wait your turn to kind of go through a jump gate. It'd be kind of fun.
I don't think we'll necessarily have that, but I do think that it'll like there's going to be some issues with like, what is it called? Like Levski. Levski has a limited number of landing zones. So if there are 17 people who want to land at Levski and they have 10 slots, those 10 slots are going to have to land, disembark before they get cleared so that you can have more people landing on them. So that's more of just a mechanical, like, it's going to slow stuff down.
Yeah. Okay. That would also depend on the ships and stuff, though, too, right?
I think you're still going to be moving pretty quickly, but you're still going to have to deal. You're still going to have some spots where it's literally like, yo, we want to slow you down, let you experience where you're at right now.
Things. You can actually go and talk to people, man. It's, be sociable, be
Go talk to people, No, I'm social.
Half the bar turns against Madness because he shot them somewhere. We know you. We know you.
Just for a fight. That's the problem. They do know me now, but that's.
And Sherman is kind of saying like, reaction and speed and that kind of stuff is going to matter with combat, which is obvious. I mean, combat now is fast paced and insane, but I don't think we're going to see a situation where you're getting nonstop action as a trucker from one spot to another. You may get interdicted once or twice, or maybe not at all.
It's not really about the action. It's more just about keeping yourself generally entertained to a degree
Yeah.
and for the length of time. If you're doing a long hour thing, I mean, I know someone said about they play Hellion and they keep themselves entertained. And I'm just like, I'm curious from CIG's perspective in terms of what mechanics, we talked about the sim pod, what mechanics are they going to be introducing to make that fun? Because, you know, it would be kind of cool. Like, obviously with Arena Commander, they can integrate that into it, so you could go into a sim pod and play Arena Commander for, you know, an hour and stuff, and by the end of it you're going to be a shit hot pilot. If you're doing 2-hour trips all the time every day, you're actually probably going to be spending more time actually doing Arena Commander and becoming a really good dogfighter than you are actually being a freight person, rather than somebody who's maybe in the PU waiting for a fight. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking that would kind of flip everything a bit on its head a little bit and be a bit weird to me. Do you know what I mean? You're actually spending more time.
I wouldn't mind doing the traveling though, Madness. I wouldn't go into Arena Commander. I wouldn't go into the sim party. You know what I mean? I would walk around in my ship, especially if you have, I think, a bigger ship and you are with multiple people. I think you'll do that a lot less than. I can imagine if you're in a fighter, but you won't be doing that long, super long travels. I think in a fighter, you know what I mean. So you will always be doing that in a ship that you can man with multiple people. I would say, or you know, even could, you know, not necessarily, but. Could. So you would always chill about with people, you know, and talk shit or whatever you're doing, you know what I mean? It's like it's
I just, again, it's just, I generally, like I said, like I see the whole, like I'm looking at the whole sea and I look at the way the ship is designed and I kind of go, well, there's a little cockpit at the front, there's a little cockpit kind of at the back, and there's a huge amount of kind of moving cargo that goes in the middle.
But I think you're choosing the wrong ship for that purpose. I think you need to look at
cargo runner. That's designed to be the
they are the big trucks. I agree with you on that. But if you look at, for example, a Starfarer, you have a lot more space to run around eventually.
That's a fuel. That's a fuel.
Yeah, but
Banu Merchantman, you know what I mean, has it's a lot more space to walk around on. I think even if you look at and I don't know how far you're going to jump with a Reclaimer or something like that, it has a lot of internal room to run around. I think the whole series is the exception to the case, you know what I mean?
The whole series are big ships.
They are still big ships.
They are pretty big.
They are still big ships.
I mean, I'm really excited to see the whole series in terms of the insides and how they're going to do that. But the Reclaimer that you're going to have, if I'm a pirate org, because really Reclaimer is about reclaiming salvage, right? That's ultimately it. So the best places. I mean, this is, again, I'm very excited about 3.0 to see how much salvage and the whole animations and mechanics. But the way I see the Reclaimer as being is, I'm a pirate org, you guys, and I have men. We attack people, we destroy them, and we salvage the ship. And the Reclaimer will be.
You have men.
Yes,
man, whatever. And then you have the Reclaimer is ship that's close by, waiting to jump in to clean up. And then go away. It's not something I would have doing long hauls and long trips. It's something that's literally because it's quite.
Like, in Addicted, we have the main
tour guides,
but then we do have tour guides, and then we have another group that are literally have got Reclaimers, and they're going to be waiting for us to kind of clean up everything and destroy everything, and they're going to come in and just salvage everything and scrap it, you know, make money for what's left. So we've already got that all sorted out.
You will have people with certain purposes. I see what madness means, you know. If you want to do a bit of this, a bit of that, if you want to do fighting, but if you then want to switch over in how far can you go, and there will be people, like you say, Bio, that will probably, and if I look at myself, I will be trading / transporting, you know what I mean? But I think if you look at a player like Madness, and it's just an observation, you know, Madness will be doing a lot of mixed things. He will be and fighting and hauling, you know. And those are two contrasting things, you know.
I think most people will be doing that. I think people will be mixing and finding out where this game. I mean, we'll be the great thing is as we get to play it all as a game is being made. And I've said this. I said this the other day. I said I don't know about you guys, but there's very real possibility that at the end of this game, I might not like the game that Chris Roberts made, and I might not play. There really is very, but I will enjoy the journey. That's what I'm paying for. I'm paying for the journey, the experience with you guys, and all that sort of stuff. At the end of the day, I might at the end of this game go, do you know what? It's too slow. It's too boring. I don't like the content. I realistically, flying around this bloody moon trying to find something just isn't for me. I don't want to play this game anymore. This is shit. I want to go play something else that's immediately action, fun, pace, blah, blah, you know? But I'm enjoying the experience. I'm enjoying the community and enjoying all of that. And I'm hoping that the game will be what I want it to be. I might end up just loving Squadron 42 more than the actual PU. I don't know. We'll wait and see.
No. But I think that's the beauty of being part of the development, you know, and we still have influence, madness, you know, and you see how it is now, and it will probably not be exactly the same, but there will still be moments that you can have those fast-paced fights where you as an orc, for example, decide to attack another orc. Those moments will still be there, you know, and the fights on itself will be the fast-paced fights. But I think everything up to it will be a bit slower, but that makes the experience, in my eyes, a lot more enjoyable as well, because it places you more into the story. Oh, we need to do this, this, and this to get there. It's you will see it as an achievement. I think, you know, like, oh, when I do this, this, and this, the outcome is that we're gonna have a crazy fight and we're gonna fuck each other up. You know what I mean? Tropical surprises popping fucking out everywhere. But
Tropical surprise.
No, but you know what I mean. There will still be those moments, but it's what Paul says. To get eventually to those moments, actions need to be done. You know what I mean? And I think that will pull you more into the story, you know what I mean? And I think that was a big topic on the ETV this week as well. How are we going to pull people into the story, and how are we going to you're going to create your own stories, you know what I mean? And that's going to be an amazing experience. And I think even though you're a fighter or a PvPer, let's call it that way, you're still the pool table, tropical surprise, you know, but you're still going to enjoy those things, you know what I mean? It's not going to be like, oh, I have to sit here for an hour until we can do something. No, you're going to divide it out over different people that are all going to do something, and then you're going to come together and you're going to make it, you know what I mean? I think, and go ahead.
Yeah, go for it. No, you go ahead. I was going to talk about something else.
No, I wasn't going to repeat myself again, so just go for it.
Okay.
Moving on.
Okay, I was just going to... so I'm going to talk about disconnection. So this is always something that's a hot topic of conversation, that people, you know, disconnecting, people talk about cheating, you know, if you're losing a fight, pull the old plug out the side. I've not lost the fight, blah, blah, blah. This is a difficult one, I think, for them, because someone somewhere is going to be pissed off.
Yes.
What you mean, like what you can do in Elite Dangerous?
Yeah, I don't think there's
just
ever
log out.
I honestly, right now, I don't think there's I mean, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know where you're at, Paul or Crucian, but with disconnecting and kind of like your head's at with that kind of thing. But someone somewhere is going to be pissed off. Like, you can't please everyone with this one.
Yeah, I mean, I've had issues with that, but like, usually when I'm in the verse and I disconnect, I usually end up waking up back in Port Olisar because I got shit on blown up.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, if you're traveling and like, say you're like 57 minutes in traveling and you're like 5 minutes away and all of a sudden you disconnect.
Yeah.
I think that you should probably come back to that area unless somebody like comes out of nowhere and like probably blows you up.
Yeah. I believe 3.0 is gonna like actually track your progress. So wherever you disconnect, you're gonna come back to. So
unless something happens, I think if something happens, then SOL, you're SOL.
There needs to be some balance, and I think there are other games that have done this well, which is you have a certain amount of time where while you've disconnected, your ship and your character are still in the universe. So that way,
10 minutes
you have to make sure that you disconnect in a safe space in order to come back and be okay.
Usually gives you like 15 minutes to like log back in and get that progress where you left off.
Yeah, but like for instance, say like if you just disconnect, like Madness is saying, like combat logging while you're in the middle of combat because you're getting your ass kicked. And you're like, no, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah.
If that happens, then the biggest issue is that person's going to get their ass kicked because they just logged out and stopped. Like their fighter, which was now trying to avoid, just stops, and then a couple seconds later, it's going to blow up. So like disconnecting is not going to be a way you win battles. It'll be a way you lose battles.
But it's going to be a lot of people not happy if their computer crashes because your ship's probably not going to be there when you get back.
Don't have a shit computer.
This is what I mean. This is what I think. In the grand,
you're not going to be happy, but
yeah, they'll understand. Yeah, I think but then Christian makes a very point. You know, like we're talking about. Imagine there's the 3-day hike to get to this rogue planet, and it fucking crashes on you literally as you're arriving after 3 days of coming in. There's got to be some sort of protection for.
I think there should be a difference between a disconnect during a fight or a disconnect while you're in a travel mode. You know what I mean?
Okay, so it can recognize. So the AI will be smart enough to recognize that you were in a combat situation versus.
Because a disconnect in a fight.
The game's smart enough to do that now because players are registered as all blue, unless someone fires at you. The second someone fires at you and hits you, that player goes from blue to red
Exactly.
in combat. So it suddenly marks these targets as enemies. And it's obvious, I'm sure the game can tell the difference between when you're in quantum mode and when you're not. So so there's things that the game could easily do, but it's in both cases, like if you're in quantum and you get disconnected, you log back in, you're probably out of quantum where you stopped when you disconnected, and you just get back into quantum and go, which no one was really going to complain about, versus if you're in the middle of combat and you disconnect, again, it's going to happen in alpha. But in the final game, when you're dealing with it, it's like, don't have a shit computer. Get a better connection. You're playing an online game, motherfucker.
To talk about what
by the time it's come out, everyone's going to need a better computer than what they currently got anyway. To run it.
I'm not one of those. I always feel I'm the console dude, so for me, I'm always like, get the masses play computer games. It's PC Master Race expensive thing is unfair. Not everyone is loaded.
Bear with, man. Just bear with. Crucian.
I think if you can make it for
say what you want to say, Crucian, because he said console. He's not allowed to talk anymore now.
No, it's fine. I'm just saying because Cray says don't have a shit computer. That's not fair. But the thing is, like, it's just like every FPS game. All the games that are done that are optimized. Guess what? The person with the better frames is going to come out on top usually. So guess what? You're going to need a good computer sooner or later.
At a certain point, if you're going to be playing an online MMO that is based off of skill and has large fidelity, you're going to need a good connection. You're going to need to have. You're going to need to have fidelity drink. Yeah. You're going to need to have a decent graphics card. You're going to need a good processor to be able to handle everything online, and you're going to need probably a decent disk that will be able to read quickly, something like an SSD. All 3 or 4 of those things are not unreasonable things to get these days. It's not going to be a game and it's not WoW. It's not going to work like that. It's never designed like that.
It's not meant to, they've already said it's not meant to be made for everybody. He said he wants to make the game top end, that it uses top spec computers. So if you can't afford that, then sadly, it's another one where it's not the game for you unless you can save up.
It's not
It's not going to be. You have to have the best graphics card. I mean, it's going to be a wide range, but it's still going to be more powerful than your average.
Don't have a 7-year-old computer and expect to play it well, and have dial-up and expect to play it well. That's how it works.
I'm sorry to say this though, but by the time the game releases, which I don't, I'm happy to wait for it whenever it comes out. I have the patience. The computers, getting a good PC should be pretty cheap.
Yeah. To run the game, definitely.
A 10 series card or something like that should be pretty, cheap because technology goes by.
Quick, to play the game,
1080's gone down in price already. So
well, I'm making a point in chat about I don't know about you guys, but in PUBG, one of the first piece of advice that somebody said to me was because of the game mechanic that it is, turn your settings way down so you don't have. I literally when I got on it, I was like, oh, I've got a brand new computer. I'm going to slam this up to ultra.
No, never.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then my mate said to me, dude, turn that shit down to low because then you can see people hiding behind.
I have a good example for you, man.
And I was like, that could be the same in Star Citizen. Like you might, because the game is going to be slow, so it's going to be sniper based. I'm sorry, it will be heavily sniper and scope based because you want to know long distances where targets are, and there's going to be lots of traps and things. So turning your settings down might actually be a way to go so you can see people more.
If you look at it, and I used to play a lot of Counter-Strike, and back in the day, what we used to do is we used to screw the resolution down so the targets became bigger, and you stretch the screen out as well, so your target becomes wider. So you see all the pro players in games like Counter-Strike, Rainbow Six Siege, etc. They all stretch their screens out just because it makes them easier to hit targets. For example, I don't know how far people, and I think that's what Sherman means as well. I don't know how far people will go in an MMO type of game like Star Citizen. But if in most PvP based shooters, people just do that. Especially on PC. On console, it's a different story. But on PC, I played on like a really crazy resolution just to stretch out the screen so you can hit shit better. I don't know in how far people will go in I think they do it in PUBG as well, as you said, Madness.
Probably
it makes it easier because you have more pixels.
Well, this is it, Bluesy. Exactly. You just said that they spend all this time on fidelity, but then the game type of play, that if you're a certain type of thing, forces you to turn the specs down so you can see people.
But boys, come on. Minimum settings on Star Citizen is still fucking good, is it? Minimum settings is still a
blur
beast.
off. You turn this anti-air because you want to optimize it to improve performance right now. But people are talking to me about what's your user configuration folder so that I can improve my performance, so I can all this stuff already, and that's for the combat side of things. So as we go further on, I seriously, we'll wait and see. But I just think that ultra settings is going to be great for those people that do those wonderful videos for MVP of the month or whatever. But for the average player, you might be just low, medium settings will be fine.
But low settings still look
that
super
should be
sexy.
fine, but there's a difference between low, medium, and and super high, and being able to even run low. Also, it's again, saying that you have a really good computer and then running it on low so you have competitive advantage is also different from saying you have a garbage level computer or a computer that was new 10 years ago and now trying to run the game now. Because there's a certain degree that, which is the reason why new consoles are made, is at a certain point you just can't stretch out what you got and you need to buy a new one. And Star Citizen's one of those games where if you're having connection troubles and you seem to be the only person who's having connection troubles, you're at fault. Stop trying to play a game with shitty internet or with shitty computers. Because it's not going to help you.
I vouch for it. I was playing this on a shit computer before. I played it on a Xeon processor, old computer, about 4 years old computer. Wasn't playing very well. Didn't understand why. I was like, what the hell's going on? And someone said, well, your computer is shit. That's why. And so I had to buy a brand new computer. And now
but you were adamant for a very long time that your computer was really good.
Yeah, it was great for doing other things, but
we watched the stream. It was very laggy, man.
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. I admit it. It was terrible.
It was great for certain websites with nature films and stuff.
Yes, it was great. It was great for those ones. But no, it was. And then it was literally, I realized that I did everything. I turned all the settings down. I did everything, and I realized at that point, I have to get a new computer. It's just not good enough. So I agree with what you're saying, Paul, completely.
Yeah. And so yeah, I was just saying, there's a point where I have no sympathy for you. If you're disconnecting in the middle of the battle and you're like, you're gonna rage. Just rage at your computer, not you. You fucked up, son.
Yeah. But the point I think of potentially the game mechanics needing to turn stats down is it actually a topic of conversation, because it's CIG spend all this time doing fidelity for movies rather than for actual gameplay, and you kind of go, is that a waste of time when actually people are going to, because of the way you're making the game, for people are going to turn it down to be more competitive? I think that's something there.
No, because not everyone's going to be combat oriented.
But if it's giving me an advantage over you at some point, if you're getting your ass whooped, Paul, every day playing the game because of this one mechanic, you are going to turn your setting down so you can see me. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
But I've played PUBG in high details and I've still won games. So
yeah, same here.
Honestly, I think PUBG and comparing Star Citizen MMO is going to be a lot different. Because like say World of Warcraft, when you turn on your settings low, guess what? All you really get is just different shades of colors. You still see everything that I see.
And World of Warcraft on top settings is still not fucking great. It still looks like shit.
And I've played Star Citizen on low settings and ultra settings. The difference is shading, and that's about it. The game doesn't change in looks very much. It's not like everyone becomes blocks that I can see easier. It just becomes
Minecraft.
It's basically you get the same color, the same shading color in almost everything, and that's what happens. You don't get the vibrant colors that you want, or you won't be able to see as far as somebody else would. That's the only thing. But I don't think I have to play in low settings to win in Star Marine or anything like that. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Cool. Good. What we like to hear.
The jump point pictures. I'm gonna bring some pictures up onto the screen, guys. Idris explosions. Which
are we gonna talk about the jump point pictures? Because I'd like to talk about the crash test skin.
Yes, of course.
Totally not official test squadron skin that CIG is making.
Totally not.
Aurora's totally not. It has nothing to do with with the test squadron.
They just see me flying my Aurora. That's all.
So you got a picture of that, Paul, or
it's in the jump point pictures. It's actually in jump point. As one of the,
I'm just going to click through them. I'm just going to open them up and
this is the Idris ones, but we don't think we've got the jump point pictures. Hang on, let's have a look.
I got the actual jump point if you want. Hang on. There you go.
Yeah, it's in jump point. It should be in the jump point pictures.
There you go. I didn't cut it out.
No, that's all right. I'm just opening them up and then we're going to...
Yeah, I looked at... Would you guys... I say, I personally am going to be doing the Star Citizen on my Saber.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why? Because it's going to bait people to want to kill me more than anything. It's fantastic. I'll get even more people wanting to come and fight me. I think it's brilliant.
Because they hate the saber.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
I like-
and the
I
saber,
like
and they
my
hate
saber.
the Star Citizen.
I
Star
get
Kitten,
people
sorry.
shooting at me all the time because they tell me
Star
I've got
Kitty.
the chav one. You know, I've got the chav one.
This is it. Yeah. Bait them
It's
in.
Burberry.
Just triggering people left, right, and center. So this is the explosion of the Idris, which is beautiful.
I love it. I
love
love
it.
it.
Yeah,
A lot of pirate Idrises are gonna end like that.
I mean, I can only imagine the amount of work that's gone into making that amount of damage on that ship, and I know that they will have spent painstaking hours making those different and unique, and just like probably something you won't even see. I can just know that they will have spent the time to do that. You know what I mean? Notice it. Like,
I was just say Uber Nerd's right. Like, are you going to put Star Kitten on your saber there, Badness, so you can trigger more people, get them absolutely after you?
Yeah, that's it. That is exactly what I'm doing, Paul.
Did you get the
Madness is going to be part of the Meowcenaries.
Madness, you got the
Meowcenaries. I have thought about it.
Madness, you got the
full
Star
pink
Citizen
suit.
t-shirt for your character.
Everything, no.
Oh,
I got no, I do. I got the Star Citizen t-shirt. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
The Star
I
Citizen.
want the full. I'm going to wear the
Star
full
Citizen.
pink.
Star Citizen.
Star Citizen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Been renamed.
Is that what I said? Star Citizen.
Yeah. He said Star Citizen.
Star Kitten. There you go.
No, Madness said Star Citizen. By the
Star
way.
Citizen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've just
Paul,
drunkified it.
on which page can I find this?
It's on like the third or fourth page. It's right after they talk about the rework of the.
Did I miss that?
After they go through the different new Aurora skins for each, like for like MR, CL, so on and so forth. It actually, the first page after that has Big Benny's skin and the crash test skin.
Oh yeah.
For just crash.
It has some loading issues here. I don't know why that is, but I'll bring it up as soon as we.
It takes some time to load. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty. I mean, I got to say the jump point stuff is decent. This is a big one. Is it always like this? I mean, I've only had subscription now and again. Is it always this detail?
Yeah.
Impressive. That is impressive, actually.
They usually have like a story, an interview, and then they usually go through like a complete design document, like with the people who designed it, like an interview where you can like they talk about what their ideas were, where they pulled their ideas from. They show reference pictures that they use. They show work in progress as well as completed design. They talk about what its purpose is in the universe, how gameplay is going to support it. It's usually really detailed. A lot of information about a lot of ships that get from it.
So that's good. That makes worthwhile subbing then, for sure. I think that's sure.
If you're interested in the game and like how the cheese is made, yeah, definitely. You want to see that details.
Oh, cool.
Hashtag charity. That's what I like to see, boys.
That Aquila, I got to say,
sexy, man.
that Big Benny is nice. The Aquila, the nose on the Aquila looks gorgeous. I've got to say, I'm excited about the new bridge on the Aquila.
So does that mean does that mean like they're gonna put more Ord skins in the game?
No, because it's not technically like it doesn't show Test Squadron. It's just the Test Squadron colors, and it has like the little logo on it.
Okay.
But
That is.
but it's one of those things where they're like it's a little subtle hint towards Test Squadron without them be people accusing CIG of like you're showing favoritism to Test Squadron.
Yeah, I was about to say that's
helping
quite.
me.
That's quite walking the line though. That's walking
I
the
mean,
line.
it looks just like a test dummy car that you crash.
Yeah, that's the point.
In a
Yeah,
car,
yeah.
so
And it even has a little rounder with a black and yellow on it. So
Yeah, no, I think.
Can I be the dummy?
That's what you need them is, and then people just think that you're testing every single time you fly.
I can't deny it.
there's some pretty good ones in there, like the Operation Pitchfork, the Midnight, the Pirate.
That's the best
signatures.
one.
There's the
Star
skin,
Kitty.
Star Kitten.
There
Start
you
kidding,
go.
man. That's it
no.
right there.
Isn't?
Best one.
What do you guys think about the and Madness touched upon it quickly? The colors on the Aquila are.
I just like the
fucking
shape of it.
sexy.
I don't really like the colors. It's the
I
the
love
black
the
and orange
colors,
is
man.
fine.
Orange, man. It's orange.
Black and orange
Yeah.
is fine.
Yeah.
I
like
love
it.
orange, man. Orange is my favorite color.
I
I'm
just-
down with it.
I just like the
you're on with
shape.
the orange crew.
I just like the shape. It's round like boobs. It's fantastic.
It's actually it actually looks nice because you've got some good vistas compared to like the angular
Yeah.
windows. So
Yeah, I definitely, out of all of them, I think, as soon as I saw that one in the Gamescom demo, was it? The first time we saw it, it looked so much better with that front view, I think.
CitizenCon. They had it on the
CitizenCon,
CitizenCon when they flew in. They had that one.
I get them mixed
Well,
up.
at
One
least
of them.
someone.
They're all the same to me.
Exactly. At least someone thinks we're getting closer.
Quilla. Well, Brian Chambers is
It's
like,
positive.
Brian was like, literally, guys, it's close. We're close.
And then 2 minutes later, you got Solder saying, "What the f did you put that on a tweet for?"
Yeah, it's like we're close. We're close. And then just basically what we're doing now, we're just going to go through some of the little bit of Reddit chat, some of the highlights. So one of the thing was CIG. There was this huge thing about this refund.
Oh my
and the fact it was
God.
immediately. There's the problem with CIG. I think in the way that because this game has taken so long, and we've had this huge delay, they've left themselves open to quite a lot of this kind of trolly kind of bullshit that's been going on recently. Like I've noticed it in like when I'm streaming. I don't know about you guys, but we're getting people coming in with ridiculous trolling names.
Like Derek Smart.
Unfollowing, then refollowing, and then I've noticed this with the fake refund shit, which was like, it was only $350, but they pretended that it was like $45,000 or something ridiculous like that, which is crazy.
There's a guy who keeps refollowing saying, "Please get a refund," or get a refund.
Yeah.
I'm over here like, how can I get a refund when I never even paid for anything that I have?
Yeah, like Crew's an interesting situation because I think Crew has one starter package and that's it, right?
All I have.
Yeah, and it was given to you. You didn't even like pay for it, right?
Well, I got a 300 odd because like somebody decided and said, "Hey, I gave so much to everybody else. Let me give you something." So somebody gave me something nice, and I was like, I was appreciative. So I have 2 ships now. So I'm excited. But the thing is, like, I can't do anything with it. I can't give it to anybody else. I can't.
Yeah.
Just
Get a refund.
Refund.
I know plenty of people who literally have a $45 pack like from 4 years ago, and that's it. In fact, most people probably.
That's what you need, yeah.
Most people.
I wish people tell me that. I spent quite a bit on the game.
Listen,
My
I have
Polaris
respect.
is waiting for me.
Now,
I'm a prowler.
Obviously, the refund was fake. Obviously, the guy deleted his account. Obviously, you click 2 things. You acknowledge the game is being done. You're shit out of luck. You're not gonna get a refund. So when you click those 2 things and you buy it, there's no way you're gonna get a refund. I mean,
but the other thing though is which a lot of people I'm always confused about is this glorification of refund culture. The idea that you need to get a refund because you're upset. But when you look at any of the correspondence people have who ask for a refund, legitimate or illegitimate, people who are just like, "I'm angry at the game, I'm getting a refund," or the people who respond like, "I've got medical bills I got to pay and I can't afford, like, can you give me my money back?" And both of the cases, they're like, "Are you sure you want to get a refund?" And if you go, "Yeah," they go, "Okay, cool, we're refunded." It's really easy. They have usually it's really painless process, and they give it back to you. And I personally believe that every single company in gaming should offer refunds because there is so much glorification of another type of culture, which is hype culture, where people will hype you to the moon about something cool coming out, and then it ends up being garbage.
Which we can
Like
in a bit.
How many games out there have you seen that people are like, "Oh, this is gonna be the best game ever, it's gonna be amazing," and it's releases and people will either like meh or like that was terrible.
Movies do
It also helps them if they give refunds. It helps them because you're not having people hanging around that don't want the game. Because if you don't give that person a refund, they're then going to go on the forums or whatever and say,
bitch about it.
"I can't get my fucking refund. This game sucks." Whereas I know we've got people that do that, but the majority that just want a refund innocently will just get their refund and fuck off to another game.
But the thing is like, about the game, you research the game, look at where the game is going before you even make a decision. Or just go to somebody's stream and win a free package. It's that simple. Like, have patience, man. There's Destiny 2's coming out. Shadow of War's coming out. Like, come on, man.
I backed what was it? Kingdom Come Deliverance when it first hit Kickstarter. I haven't touched that game, and it's supposed to come out in January.
2018-ish, they say now. So first quarter, but it's going to be great. You know what I mean?
But I haven't even bothered. I haven't even bothered checking it out.
Me neither. I left it for what it is.
Alpha,
what it is.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just. Do you know what's interesting about the refund thing as well is a lot of people don't realize is when bullshit goes on about refunds, it's always generally just after this concept sale of something. or when they're the Q&A or something, or it's usually when poor CIG is inundated with a lot of buying and potentially a lot of refunds, because that's what happens. It's a period of frenzy.
Gamer managed to jump on it very quickly as well.
Do you know what I mean? It's like naturally, if you like for example, the iPhone, whatever, there's a period of time when suddenly you can pre-order. Well, if you were to ring up Apple on the day that they released the Apple 10 or whatever, to talk about anything else or to try and do anything, their lines are going to be so full with people trying to desperately buy this item of goods. It's going to be carnage. You're going to have to wait maybe a couple of days. Say, for example, with the emotes, for example, for Twitch. I use this as an example. Like when everyone suddenly got their affiliations on Twitch, tried to get their emotes in, they were like waiting weeks to try and get their emotes done.
Yeah.
I put mine in only recently. It took it like 4 days to be approved. Because I waited, and I waited until all the craziness had passed.
Patience is a virtue, man.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the refund thing for me.
Patience
It's
is a
just
virtue.
people get so crazy. Oh, I had to wait 3 weeks. Well, you only bought it at a peak time. CIG, you've only got so many people to answer you.
You know what it is
Chill.
as well, Madness, and
Chill
I
out.
recently had a issue with a product that was broken and where I needed money back. I think that's a whole different story. If you look at these things, ships, etc., games, and Steam is very good with it. If you didn't play more than 2 hours and it's within a couple of days, you return this shit. But it's yourself as well. Are you in your right mind state when you buy something? Remember the 600i that came on
Hyped.
sale.
Yeah.
I was drunk that evening. I was drunk that evening, and I was on. I think I was in Discord with Miz as well, and I almost bought it.
Yeah,
I
That
almost
would be
bought
your
it.
fault, not the company's, and there's no way they should refund you because you're drunk and stupid with your credit card. If you ordered that many pizzas from a pizza shop, they're not going to give you a refund the next day because you were drunk.
They have a response. They do though. They providing that amount of shit porn. They have some sort of.
But next,
Yeah, but they did advertise it somewhat different than they stated, and they
Yes.
said that it was wrong and it was their fault. But now they're gonna go ahead and try to do it again.
Yeah.
Well,
So we'll see what happens.
And here's the thing. At the end of the day, people need to do research and people need to wait for things like Q&As before they buy ships. And
Right.
the big thing that I've been saying, and I think I'm going to make a video on this at some point, just because I think it's important, is no one should be buying ships for the sake of buying ships.
No.
If you're buying ships because, oh, I want to get that ship because I need that ship for X, Y, or Z, you're stupid.
I wish you told me that
Melting going on as well.
I wish
Wow.
you told me that again.
No,
It would save me so much fucking money.
I have no
disagree.
sympathy. I have no sympathy for someone who buys a
Hear that,
Super
Bio?
Hornet
You're stupid.
because someone who buys a Super Hornet.
I want to hear him say it in that sexy voice again. Like, come on, please tell me I'm stupid.
I think, Paul, if the value of time, if the value of time versus the cost of actually financially in terms of using real money, if when we see it eventually,
It's never going to reach. It's never
then
going to meet.
then you can say it's stupid. But until that point, there might be a case of where the guys who bought it right out the gate, the concept where it was actually reasonably cheap, they might be making bank on certain. I reckon there will be a few ships in the game where it will have been really smart to buy it when it was first in concept.
But
Yeah.
the problem
You've
is,
saved yourself a lot of time. I think there'll be a
The
few.
Polaris,
Maybe
the
not all of them.
Polaris is probably worth when I got it because it's going up in price every single time it comes out.
the
For the
problem
time
is,
of life. Yeah, go for it.
the problem is that people coming in with the wrong mentality. They come in saying, "I'm going to buy a Super Hornet because I want to be good at dogfighting," and the response shouldn't be. You shouldn't be going in there saying, "I'm going to buy X ship because of X." It should
Buy and
be,
development.
this is how much money I'm willing to put into the game. What ships will fit that money
Budget. Yeah.
ratio,
Yeah, like-
my budget? Because if you come in with the mentality that you're buying a ship for a specific purpose, in the sense that you're buying it because you're putting this money down for this ship, it comes to this mentality of like, I need this ship to be good it needs to be like it needs to happen for this reason, and it gets people salty and angry, and they end up more often refunding. And the answer is that if you're trying to invest time or effort into the game, remember that every ship you buy, someone can pick it up for free in game.
Yep.
By stealing your shit.
They can also steal your shit, and now it's theirs.
I think it's
Not right. You don't know how long it will be.
This might be very stupid, but I think they should have like a layaway system, so where you just have it on layaway for like a down payment, and if you don't want it, you can just take your money back or something.
You know what I think the bad thing is about it?
CCU, right? That's what CCU is, isn't it? Kind of.
Well, that is
Kinda,
why
yeah,
everybody
sort
melts
of.
shit all the
Not
time.
really,
It's like every
it's like
the amount of
review
people
ships.
that a new ship comes out, they buy it, then it's melted before it's not even out of concept still from the next one, because another concept comes out. Oh, I'm melting that one. And loads of people
Yeah,
melting
they
shit
want-
already. And go, well, that hasn't even
No, but they
been
want the
close to
buyback.
being revealed yet, and you're buying the next concept. It's
They are smart though. They
I
want that
I
buyback
don't
token.
do that.
They want that buyback token though, Miz. Because if you have the buyback token, once the information is out there, the point is a lot of people are doing it so that they've got all these buyback tokens, and then they're like, okay,
Giveaways.
now I know what this ship is going to actually be. Once we get them, they can jump. They can literally. It's like almost like they're building up a deck of cards, kind of ready to know where they want to go once they know more information. They're like, it's actually if you financially, if you are in that situation to be able to do that, it makes a lot of sense. For most people, it's like it's just stupid. It's like a lot of money. But if you're financially wealthy and you don't necessarily want to grind the shit out of the game, it makes a lot of sense to me. It really does.
You know
for
what
the
it
buyback
is
tokens.
though, the whole ship buying thing, and it's something that annoyed me lately, and I don't know how you guys feel about it. So before we bought ships, etc., I think it was with that stealth fighter bomber kind of thingy that we have. What's the damn thing called? The one Area 51.
The midnight.
I know they released it recently. Man, it's Bio. You just
Eclipse.
Eclipse.
Yeah, the Eclipse.
So
Fucking midnight.
you had the numbers. So you had production number 1, 2, 3, 4, 600, 777, whatever the hell. I think that is a bad thing to do, because then you will get people like, oh, I need to buy this now because I want an early number. But what you will get then is regrets afterwards, because you're like, oh, I bought this and I have the serial number, but actually it's pretty shit. You know what I mean? and I think that is obviously a way to pump out sales. Let's be honest.
I mean, they're obviously encouraging you to spend. And because you get the whole, it's only this price at the start, and then it's going to go up, and everything else. So that, it's typical marketing. You get it from
obviously, but it's. I think if, on the other hand, I think it's what Astro says. If you go to them, and I think it's with every product that you bought, Buyer's Remorse, whatever. If you have a proper story, or you go in their column and you say, okay, I bought this and this and this. Can I get a refund? They won't probably not be too bothered about it. If you do it every week, it's a different story, obviously. You know what I mean? But I had a guy a while back, and he came to me and said, okay, need to sell this. I'm in serious money problems. Do you know any people that want to buy this? And I can understand that, and I said to him as well, why don't you first go to CIG themselves and say, okay, I bought this, but I have this and this issue going on, relay it back, but it's been such a blown up situation with this whole refund thing and it's what happens on fucking Reddit, you know what I mean? It's like Manchester Studios for CIG. You give them a mouse and it comes out like an elephant, you know what I mean? I'm not paying attention to this shite, you know what I mean? I'm like, I saw it, I scrolled over it, because I'm actually on Reddit a bit lately, man, so thank you for that, to getting me into this shit. What a shit.
Listen, can I go on record? Because every podcast I've ever been on, I like to go on the record. Reddit sucks. Reddit's fucking terrible. And if you use it, and the thing is that Redditors will, like every Redditor agrees, it's terrible. It's a horrible place. Because you have people who go on there and it's based off of like a groupthink bullshit mentality. So if someone has a opinion which is similar to that of the rest of the communities, it's going to get upvoted. If you go against the circle jerk, then suddenly you get downvoted into oblivion. It's a good discussion site only for certain people, for certain like opinions.
Yeah,
so
I love digging through it, Paul. I love digging through. I look at it like it's like going through a secondhand store. You're rummaging through tons and piles of refuge of crap just to find one beautiful piece of clothing that just going to make your outfit just go boo. That's it. That's what I wanted. That belt.
Yeah,
I want to pop some
what pisses me off about what pisses me off about Reddit is that it has this such like high opinion, being like, it's the open source, like we're the superior free speech platform. Anyone can say what. It's like, fuck you. You're all a bunch of like same-minded assholes. When everything's going good, everyone's white knighting. When everything's going bad, then everyone's like suddenly becomes a troll, or suddenly becomes a critic. It's like,
I knew
it was going to be shit. I knew it was going to be really good this game. Oh no, I knew this game was going to be shit. It depends on what day of the week it is.
So here's a question to you guys, because this is the reality. I've only literally got into. I didn't even know about Reddit until literally months ago. Reddit for me is completely new. I am a complete new person to Reddit.
I apologize.
So for me, I am just like, this is kind of like a Wikipedia full of salt. It's kind of cool, you know. I look at it and kind of go. I can just sift through the
top puppy's salt levels. You see, Star Citizen doesn't get it high enough.
I'm not getting enough from Star Citizen, but no, But you know what? We're talking about the refunds, and here's the reality. This is the truth. Okay, in the stretch goals in the refund post, Star Citizen got $57,980 in 1 day. Okay, in 1 week, it made almost 1.4 and a bit $1 million in 1 week. And in 1 month, it made nearly $3 million. I'm sorry, no matter how many refunds, this game makes bang.
Yeah, and then private investors. Then you have the private investors that are throwing money in like there's no fucking tomorrow. You know what I mean? But coming back on the whole Reddit thing, man, is there's. When I think of Reddit, I think of a certain type of person, and don't get me wrong, but
where are you going with this?
Listen.
This is dangerous. I'm feeling a slap coming on right now.
No, nothing towards you. I'm going to slap someone. But I used to have a colleague that was full on Reddit. You know, he was one of these no life pricks. You know, that had always something to say about nothing. You know what I mean? Like everyone said A, and then he said F. You know what I mean? I was like, mate. But he is the type of he was the type of person that loved that Reddit shite, you know what I mean? So it takes a certain kind of person as well. It's normally the person that if he buys a product and he's not happy with it, complains online, you know what I mean? Instead of the person that goes onto a Trustpilot website and says, hey, I bought this product, it was fucking good, you know what I mean? It's always the type of person that has a tendency to complain very easy as well, you know what I mean? That will always moan, that will always find something to moan about something as well. They're looking for things to moan about as well. If I go to a product and I don't like it, and I'm that type of guy, I go into Trustpilot and say, oh, this was fucking good, you know. I had my shit with my steering wheel, I brought it back, they gave me a refund within 2 days. I put it on Trustpilot, and there were a lot of moaning bastards on there, and I said, perfect service, refund within 2 days. It is how you approach it as well, you know what I mean? If I go storming into that shop, it's not fucking working, what the fuck did you sell me? Or I walk in there and say, okay, the damn thing is not working, I want to return it, can I get a refund? I want to buy a different product that you don't sell, I'm going to buy it elsewhere. You know what I mean? It's how you go into it as well, it's how you approach things as well, you know?
Okay, all right. I'm going to stop you there because this is for me, about the Soul, about what I love about Reddit. If you wouldn't, in my opinion, I don't think without this without Reddit in a way you wouldn't have got this. Maybe you would have, but the Sean Tracy face. Has people seen the GIF?
No.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
I have.
All right, drop it on. So it's down on number 49 on the bar on the Reddit chat section. It's the Sean Tracy. Now, like this for me does sum up, but it just lights up my day when I see this because it makes me chuckle.
Who is...
I think it's the sadistic nature. I have that sadistic nature. That's the name and everything. But I think it just tickles the sadistic side of me. I kind of love. You know, the Sean Tracy. I mean, look at his face. It's just fucking a picture. Need help. It's just brilliant.
Yeah, it's good.
Brilliant.
I can't do this anymore.
He caught the camera. Just at the he literally goes, "Oh my god!" You're like, the camera's looking at me.
It is good though.
Absolutely brilliant. And that for me sometimes just when because
there are good things. This long wait
for 3.0. Reddit has kind of made me chuckle at times, and that was one of them.
It is what you say though, man. It's you're scooping through a pile of shit to find a gem. You know what I mean? And but there are not a lot of gems in there.
Reddit is, and don't get me wrong, I use Reddit all the time. I go through Reddit constantly for information and that kind of stuff. But as someone who has posted on Reddit before,
I wouldn't post.
And no, never posting Reddit. Like people are absolutely horrible. Like we've promoted a couple people who are unfamiliar with Reddit have posted stuff about VerseCon on Reddit. And the Redditors just ate them up and spit them out. Even though it got upvoted, people just are like, and then right now, even today, someone posted something on Reddit about about VerseCon coming in soon, and they're just being excited about everything. And people were just like, "You guys are really aggressively marketing," and we posted like 3 things on Reddit, and like, "You're aggressively marketing. You're shit. You're just a shitty blah blah." Like people like I'd like personally attack you, and then attack everything you stand for, and
These
like
people have nothing to do all day, Paul. You know
they
what
don't.
I mean?
They don't.
They have
which is
nothing to
why
fucking do.
I constantly say, because every time I've seen Board Gamer post stuff on there, like, "Hey, I have an in-depth analysis of 3.0," and they're like, "You fucking suck." It's like, what? Who can be mad at Board of all people? Like, have you ever watched
He's the
fucking
nicest guy
terrible? Like, that's why I can constantly say Reddit sucks. It's for terrible people who like terrible things because they don't understand anything. There are some cool shit in there, and
I'm just
Well, madness understand some things, you know.
I'm just mad at Board because he's so much cleverer than me. That's why.
Even the Facebook page, people are salty about Star Citizen. Even the Facebook page is pretty bad.
You'll have
I
him
don't- I don't
anywhere.
know. And
It's just crazy, man. Some people have nothing to do. They sit at home all day,
Yeah, but also
jerking
the
off
thing
on
is-
nature films. You know
I have,
what
I
I mean?
have too
nothing
much
better
of a
to do.
history. I don't have to have Facebook. I don't need the pass. Lug in the pass.
It's
around
easy
ready for
enough
Facebook.
to complain. The thing is, the people that are enjoying it or like the stuff are too busy enjoying it or liking the game to bother going onto a website and saying, "Oh, by the way, this is awesome." So that's generally what happens. It's the same with reviews and anything else. If you feel like you're hard done by, you go and shout about it. Whereas most people, if they're enjoying the product, they're using it.
Yep, definitely. Just on the another, but the one good thing, the Spectrum is kind of a bit of a salty. It's a bit weird Spectrum at the moment. I'm still thinking it's finding its place at the moment. I think that's going to happen over the next couple of months. But what I do like about Spectrum is obviously the CIG involvement, and we get a lot of questions answered within Spectrum, which is really useful and really helpful. I think one of the things recently, there's a lot of, even I was part of it, I think there was a miscommunication, surprise, surprise from CIG, miscommunication, but to do with the special build for Evocati, they've actually come out now and absolutely said that there is no special build for Evocati 3.0. It is, which was good, because I think there was, like, I was like, there was a bit of a miss kind of thing going on out there about this whole Evocati, like, and
Well, it just links to what we were saying earlier on, isn't it? They've took away what they said with blockers. Not took them away, they've just not put them as blockers as such, so that they can get the build out to Evocati. It's still exactly the same build.
Yeah,
But
I think that was the thing. I think they
guys. It's a
didn't
positive
say it the right
thing.
way. No, it's good. But what I'm saying is that, again, this whole, I think they just mess up with what they're communicating, and then this is what's good about the Spectrum is they have a forum where they can just communicate pretty quickly, hopefully, to say, guys, hang on, blah 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 blah. And Reddit's good for that as well. You know, it's like, that's the great thing, because Reddit and Spectrum, they have the links and they connect them, and that's what I like about it. It helps me out. The Cutlass Blue, for example, I don't know if you guys know the Cutlass Blue schedule. It's actually, for me, because I own a Cutlass Blue, and because of this whole delay for 2.0, we were talking about this again earlier, in terms of detail, like ships and stuff, we think it's going to be on the schedule. Just because it's on the schedule doesn't mean it's going to be in 3.0. A lot of people kind of think that, oh, look, there's the Cutlass Blue, it's on the schedule, it's going to be in 3.0. No, it's just on the schedule to say that they're working on it, not that the variants and stuff of the Cutlass are going to be in for 3.0. So, yeah, there you go.
What we should have learned, and if you're a backer for a year or for 3 years or for 4 years or for 2 months, one thing: do not keep them to dates. Do not look at these schedules.
Ready.
No.
Just see them as like how do you call this? Like
Can I do my sexy voice?
yeah, you
I'll
can
explain
do
this.
this.
Okay.
Yes, here we go.
Please do, man.
Hi, are you a new backer? My name's Paul. Let me explain something to you. CIG, all their dates are wrong, entirely wrong. If you hear a date come out of their mouth, imagine that it's them saying flowers and sunshine, so that 3.0 is coming out with flowers when flowers and sunshine is everywhere. That's the best way of looking at it. Never look at dates. This has been a public sexy service announcement from TheAstroPub.
you know what? I
Beautiful.
think
I'm genuinely like a diamond right now.
that should be on the
I'm
thing.
sorry.
I'm going off now. See you later.
Hitting wood right now.
Can someone clip that and start spreading it on Twitter and Reddit, please?
Like a
Please.
diamond.
I think that the people that actually get into Star Citizen by watching the streamers, because the streamers usually tell them, look, man, it's an alpha. You're gonna have to have patience with it. I think that sometimes is the best way to get into the game, because like we explain it more better than people just going to the website and just reading. I'm like, oh, it's a space game. I can play it. Then they're all fucking like all mad because they
If you
can't
even get anywhere on the website, because that's you need a handbook for that one on its own.
Yeah, so like I think the best weapon CIG has is streamers, man.
Streamers
They
amount
do.
to mount.
They need to give us some free content to give away, then, don't they? They need to start giving us some free shit to give away.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna put on my here right now.
Free shit.
Here's one of my biggest gripes with CIG right now. It's the this sort of hybrid player content creator referral system they have. If you're gonna do a good referral system, because the referral system's garbage. It's terrible. It needs to have been changed before they did their.
It is, yeah.
contest.
It has too many big jumps on it too.
Yeah.
I agree.
So what you do is you make a referral system for refer a friend for smaller increments up to like 25 or 50. Maybe leave it at 42. Great, and you get like every couple of, every 3 to 5 or whatever, you get another little small thing like a shirt or a skin or something like that. And then you have an actual system for content creators like everybody else does in the industry. And like I'm just gonna say this. I work with XSplit. I'm an XSplit elite member. Crew works with Origin. He's an Origin brand ambassador. We actually are contracted by companies to help sell their products because we like their products, or because they know that we like to that we'd be amicable to promote their products in some way, shape, or form. Most of us would be okay with promoting Star Citizen because we do it anyways. You give us free stuff to give away, or some other even small little like, hey, this is our official streamer right now or whatever, then we would be even more amicable and want to stream it more.
So I have an announcement. So I'm sponsored by my local chicken shop. Basically, they gave me free chicken. You know what I mean?
They give you free chicken.
So delicious, delicious
fried
free chicken.
Is that because you're at the door going, please, sir, can I have some more?
Listen, Bio, tasting is believing. Tasting is believing.
But in all seriousness, I think there is a space for CIG to do a content creator partnership program. Warframe does a really good job of it. Elite did a pretty good job of it.
But I don't want to grab anybody and take them from what they're doing and trying to get 3.0 out to make a better referral system. You know what I'm saying? So
No, I know.
Maybe that is planned for later on.
That's something they can do later on. But like it's something. There is no. I don't think there's an excuse to not plan something like that, because right now what they've done, I think they realize is bad and they need to fix it. But it's going to take some time, and CIG or Star Citizen to be in a better place than it is now for that to happen.
A lot of other games, as Paul said, do it a lot better. You know what I mean?
I mean, heck, even Wargaming with World of Tanks that has their own partner system.
I don't want to say it again, but look at Hellion. You know what I mean? I told them I was doing a 12-hour stream. They gave me keys to give away. You know what I mean? It's like it's like the small things that matter at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And it doesn't necessarily need to be keys, but it's what Paul says. Put a couple of hanger flares available for those people.
Twitch
whatever,
t-shirts,
you know what I mean?
for the characters in the game would be quite fun. Twitch t-shirts and like your character t-shirts. like Madness's t-shirt, AstroPub's t-shirt, Miz t-shirt, something where you can kind of give fun things away.
Warframe does a glyph system where like you have a customized glyph that you can give to people. Dauntless does a system where they have a flare. Like a literal flare that you can throw up that actually has a symbol of the person who's partnered. You can only get it from those partner folks with a team. You could easily get something like that, like a small piece of flare that
is unique,
show up.
Special.
In all honesty, I'm sorry to say it this way, but in the end, it has to come down when the game is done.
Yes,
I think the biggest argument I've heard from CIG is that they would love to do something like that, but the game's not ready. So there's no point.
I think that's
planning
it. At the moment, it's like a balance of they want to sell copies of the game, but they also don't want to be seen necessarily actively.
Tickets for the events.
Ticket for the events.
So why don't we should give tickets for the events that they do for Bar Citizens?
Because the events sell out
things like
in like seconds without having to give tickets away.
I think the biggest issue
We all
is
had
and
to
not
fight
really an
for the
issue.
CitizenCon tickets,
Aye.
and they were sold out within 30 seconds each time. So
I think the biggest issue is they have no reason to do it at the moment, man. It's
I
because
know.
everyone's grabbing it anyway. You know what I mean? Oh,
Yeah.
$2.5 grand ship pack. Let's have that shit. Come here. Here you got my money. You know, like Clifford always says. You know what I mean?
But you know,
It would be nice,
still,
but it's like
they're still making, like I said, the numbers speak for themselves. Like I said, they're still making serious money without, even, yeah. Anyway, I think that's the ideal. That's for the future. For the future. For the future.
Yeah.
What do we have here? CitizenCon.
Squadron 42. That's all you need to know.
So we had CitizenCon. We had the sneak peek of the planet-side racing scoreboard. So I expect to see some racing on planets at CitizenCon. I don't know about you guys, but I'm expecting they're going to show off something to do with racing.
I'm down with that.
CitizenCon.
Yeah.
On planet. That's going to be there. They wouldn't show us. They love to give us these little tidbits in before we get anywhere near. They always
Wasn't that just a sneak peek rather than?
Yeah, it will be.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think
That was very German of you there, man. It's
Oh my god.
yeah.
I want to play
That's going to be in
Mario Kart in the verse with cyclones and machine turrets.
dropping grenades and I want your mate on the back with a railgun taking out your mates, like kind of like.
That's exactly what I said. I think you definitely need to be able to have like guns blazing, everything chasing each other through the any rules goes basically.
It's what
I'm going to be
Death race on
I'm going to be
Dragonflies.
unpopular and popular at the same time, but saying like I don't give a shit about this kind of stuff because they're going to show it off, and eventually, I mean, when most people are like, okay, great, we're going to see. Are we going to see 3.0 for a third time in the last 2 years? You're really going to sit up and show us another 3.0 video? Because that would end badly. They need to show Squadron 42. There's no excuses at this point. They have to show Squadron 42. Even if they just show a trailer, we're beyond the point of
Like
excuses.
Little teaser. Something. Yeah.
Well, they could. I don't know. They could. I think they could. I don't think it would go down well, but at the end of the day, I understand. Like, this is something I was leading into later in terms of the games and stuff. But I understand why sometimes keeping shit under wraps is better in the long term for the game rather than showing too much. I think a trailer would be good, definitely. Like a little.
Yeah.
I don't want them to show. I would rather them just literally just go, here's the trailer for the game, and then in literally a week's time, Squadron 42 is suddenly dropped the first bit and I can play it. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather have that than have like a drip feed. I just want to fucking.
Well, I'm hoping like I get to see something because it's the first time I'm ever going to go to CitizenCon, so I want to have a.
You want to have a bit.
I went to CitizenCon last year, and I was expecting to see.
I think it's because I'm not going. I'm not going. That's why. Don't show it to them. Don't do it, CIG. They don't deserve it. Don't show it to them.
So where is CitizenCon again this year, Bio?
Huh?
Where is CitizenCon this year?
Where is CitizenCon this year?
Germany. Deutschland.
I think it's in Germany. Yeah.
Super toll geile Klasse. Das ist ja in der Deutschland.
The fatherland. There we go. But no, yeah, I know. I hear what you're saying.
Like the problem is we haven't seen any progress since the what was the last time we saw? We saw the Moro tour. Was the last thing we saw?
I think it's on purpose though. From what Board's told me and other people have told me on the tour, they've seen stuff. It's there.
Oh, I've seen stuff.
They're keeping stuff. They're keeping stuff back for a reason.
They are, but at the same time, it's like you, myself, and Board, and people who've actually done the tours are like not even 1% of the actual backer base. Not everyone is able to go see these tours. They need to start showing some content.
Well,
otherwise, people are going to assume it's not being made.
Do a sexy Star Wars like 10-second trailer clip with looks that blows people away. I don't want these
Show
1
some
minute,
epic, 4-minute
trailers that spoils
like
the
what
whole
Star
game.
Wars has been doing with the episodic stuff, like with like Episode 7 and Episode 8, where you see like little cuts and like you see some vistas that are in the game in the movie, and you see some moments, but you don't see nothing that actually spoils the story. And it's easy to do. You can tell people what a game is or a movie is by showing them what the game's going to be like. talking a little bit about what the story is going to be like and showing some gameplay without ruining everything. Like the Wind Waker, or not the Wind Waker, Breath of the Wild, the Zelda Breath of the Wild trailer does the perfect job of balancing story, what's the story about, what's going on, who are the characters in the story, and what's the action going to be like, what's the gameplay going to be like. And there's a lot of people who work at Hollywood, who've made a lot of stuff in Hollywood, who work for CIG. They have little excuses in terms of talent. They have talent to do this. So at the very least, I expect a trailer.
It's kind of a bit like the ship videos, when they were selling the ships. It didn't necessarily tell you what the ships are or much what they can do, but the cinematic and actually showing you what gameplay would be like.
That got me into buying that Freelancer back in the day, that advert, and I miss those things. Those things were great.
They'll bring out the new Gladius advert soon.
Yeah, I don't want a drip. I really, Squadron 42. I don't want a drip feed. I want it to be short, fast, quick, hard. I don't want a drip feed.
Yeah, but the problem is we've been hearing about like this game changer for like it feels like months already now. Like they seem to drip feed everything slowly, just keep going over and over, and it's like.
No, but the Eclipse, they did a good job with the Eclipse because it was like literally 1 week before the Eclipse concept sale came out. They were like did these really cool videos, and then bang. There was suddenly the Eclipse. It's when they do these long, fucking drawn out. And this is, I think it's actually you guys. I'm saying this. I think because I was watching on the AstroPub, I was thinking you guys. I was agreeing with the comments that you guys had on the stream about this topic, and I was like, yes,
he said like
I agree.
There's a difference between, hey, boom, here's a trailer and it's here versus like the game changer thing, which we've been talking about for 4 months. It's like we're getting I've gotten tired of answering the fucking game changer. What's the game changer question?
Yeah.
What's the game changer?
When is 3.0 coming?
You hype it up that much, it's gonna have to be fucking good. Otherwise, Jesus,
it's a garbage truck.
Everybody's just gonna be like, well,
it's a garbage truck.
That's not a game changer. That's shit.
But
even if it is good, there's still the way they've hyped up so much. There's still going to be a lot of people saying, "Well, that's not as good as we expected." Now,
The thing, there's a difference between that and Squadron 42, though. Squadron 42 is a game that is going to have to sell. It can't just be a game that people enjoy. That's going to be like Star Citizen, but Squadron 42 is going to be released probably sometime next year at the earliest, and they're going to have to start building media material to show it off. And showing off a trailer like they did with the speech, the bishop speech they did.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. Something like that would be great, but something that's more based around like what the gameplay is going to be about, what's the story going to be about. Not necessarily the exact story, but the story we know is you're a new pilot on the UE Stanton, and you're fighting around a place called the Shubin mining platform. That's what we know. And we know that the Vanduul are involved somehow at some point. So taking that and putting it into a cohesive narrative that shows ground fighting and aerial dogfighting with some like call outs, showing off the fact that you have fucking Gary Oldman and Mark Hamill and Gillian Anderson like as voice actors, and hearing their voices is part of what will sell the game. That kind of stuff will make people go, okay, they're actually doing something. Because as dumb as it sounds, if people don't see anything, they don't believe it's being made. I've heard that argument so many times in Star Citizen, where they're like, oh, I don't see the transportation stuff. We haven't seen any demos of transportation, so obviously it's not being made.
For you. He says this.
That is madness. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. That's fucking madness.
Come on
for
now,
you.
madness. It's like I haven't seen the reclaimer working. They're not working on it.
I want to see the animation. I want to see more. Like I hear a lot of
Bio. You're on a podcast. Yeah, you're here with us.
Yeah. Not enough. I want to. I mean, I'm very much a visual person. Talking is fine. But I like to see results. I like to see animations working. I want to see the mechanics of shit. There's enough ships in the game. The Herald, the fucking Starfarer. I could go on with other ships with bits. I can't remember them right now because I've had a few drinks.
But that's what I mean.
Where shit doesn't work. And I'm like, I want to see them fucking bits, the basic.
But they need the ships first.
Let me put it this way. Would it be better for you to see that Squadron 42 has made progress and that there are some cool vistas in Squadron 42? Or would you rather have them say nothing and wait until the
Hey,
last
just
minute to talk
just
about
give me a sweet trailer with Luke Skywalker in it with a cool
Yeah.
lightsaber and stuff, and I'm cool. That's
it.
not-
Yeah.
Honestly, seriously, I genuinely think with Squadron 42 right now, I genuinely think they're going to nail it. I just go and do your shit. I believe you. The reason you're keeping it so quiet, you must firmly want to keep it quiet. So go ahead, just give us a little sneaky bit. That's fine, and just finish it, and then give it to us really quickly so that we can just lap it up and enjoy it. That's all I can.
Citizen Con, Squadron 42.
That's me.
simple.
Don't overdo it.
That's
Don't
simple.
overdo it.
That simple.
Just
crossed.
drop it,
The
boys. Drop
game
Squadron 42.
changer, a fucking Death Star in the verse. There you go.
Ooh. Death Star.
Game Changers is no longer going to be in space.
We're gonna have a
gonna be
terraform
underwater.
engine in the verse. There you go.
Wow. So who's going to Citizen Con here? Just so I know. So Bio's going.
Yep.
So I won't get anything good from him. Who's going? You're going,
You know,
And
I
so-
was actually gonna pick some bits up for you,
dude. You're going to
Magnus.
you're going to Germany, full of German girls. We know you and German girls, buddy. You're going to be so distracted right now.
Man,
This
that
is
joke
crazy.
has been beaten so hard. It's like mush at this point.
It's just like he's going to be just he's going to be.
We've
way deep.
atomized that horse so hard at this point.
Way
It's
deep.
fine. You know, it's fine.
Give it 4 weeks and he speaks better German than Toby.
Yeah.
I'm learning. I've got an app. I'm learning German. You know.
Can you show us something? Can you let us hear some things?
Oh god.
Oh god, no.
God,
I can
jeez.
say, wie geht's
I-
dir?
Bedroom
Eins,
talk.
zwei, drei, vier,
Guten Tag.
sieben, acht.
That's exclusive from
Anna.
bitte or whatever. What is it? Ein bitte.
Ein bitte.
Bitte.
Ein bitte.
One, please.
Nine.
Yeah.
Nine. That's all I know. No, stop it. Stop it. That's not right.
Right.
So I have a section here which I don't know if you guys want to go over, but this was the Madness is Games corner.
I wanted to skip that one
Thank you.
because we
But I only spent a couple hours on it, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's cool. No problem.
no,
This is-
we talked about the Beyond Good and Evil part, and I don't know if Paul you want to
Oh, we
touch
talked
on
about
it
it before the
again.
podcast.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
talked
yeah.
about it a little bit.
we were
Yeah, go
chatting
for it.
about
Go for it,
before,
Dan.
and I have a couple videos, and basically this is
Go
the
for
bit
it.
where
Tell me which
this is the
ones you
bit-
want me to
I'll-
open up.
Yeah, I'll tell you the video numbers and stuff that we can kind of go for. But
Perfect,
basically, what I like to do is like, I like to look at other games and I like to kind of go, well, is there anything in other games out there that we've seen before and recent and new and old or whatever that potentially Star Citizen could adopt or maybe think about for this game, or things that you guys maybe as well, if you guys have got games that you love and think that would be relevant.
Bear
for
with me,
Star
yeah.
Citizen.
Is Sherman still here to burn all your ideas down?
That's fine. You can burn all my ideas, but
We
okay.
need
So this
that.
is a new game coming out. So the first one, right? Okay, this is Wolfenstein, and I saw this helmet design, and I was like, literally, this fucking made me very excited for a Xi'an helmet because they'd have the floating panels, and I was thinking this would be really sick for a Xi'an helmet or like armor and suit where they have
So
the
you want a
helmet.
bucket on your head.
Basically, the helmets kind of clip out. You know, everything is like. You see like the helmet there, the way it kind of like comes up and stuff in
Like very,
Wolfenstein?
like it looks like
Yeah, like Stargate, you know, with the helmets kind
Yeah.
of come down and come up again, you know?
or almost like a gosh, what is it? Like a like the movie or not the movie, the video game that came out recently, Prey. It looks
Prey,
a lot
yeah.
like the Prey,
Yeah,
Prey
yeah.
helmet.
Yeah, and I was just like
Just so happens to be made by the same company that made Prey.
Maybe.
Or anything like
Surprise,
that.
surprise,
You know,
surprise.
surprise.
same designer. But no, but
Um,
genuinely I was like because of the technology and the floating stuff, I'm excited about armor and the different types of armor that they have in the game, and I want to see more of the Xi'an's armor and that definition, and will we
Something
get
that's alien,
variants?
something that's not.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like,
definitely.
Says so
Seeing-
you want
seeing-
Michael Bay transformer metal.
Well, I mean,
Maybe,
I can see what
maybe.
he means
Why not?
though. I mean,
Why not?
he's like you have your metal pieces like on your armor, and then like when you go into battle, you hit a button and suddenly it all
Yeah.
goes like
Iron
on
Man,
your head.
basically. Iron
Yeah.
Man, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, that's we want Iron Man suits. He just
Yeah.
wants
But they have it on the Nox. They talk about how the panels kind of float and they have the bits float on the side and stuff. And I was like, they have a license for that sexiness at the moment. Everything is still very clunky, very UEC, very kind of human orientated, and when they brought the Nox out, I don't know about you guys, but I was so excited when I saw that Nox for the trailer.
I was
and
excited when I saw the Prowler.
I know, yeah, and the Prowler, yeah, exactly. As
Another
well.
good example.
So I brought it.
And I was like, I want to see more of that in the armor choices now.
Yeah.
I've seen enough. Like the Nomad, how exciting was everyone when we saw the Nomad, the kind of armor? And
I'm
like,
gonna get that. Yeah,
And the Nomad's human.
Cool.
The human's
Yeah.
the Nomad's a human too.
Yeah.
That's the best part. Like
exactly. So I want to see more of that for sure. The next one is Scorn. So for a lot of people, if you haven't seen Scorn, now this is more alien armor. So this is alien stuff. I don't know if anyone's seen Scorn. This is a very heavily based on this feels to me very heavily inspired by H.R. Geiger, the guy who did Alien. And this is really gross. So if anyone's got children, I definitely recommend don't let them watch this. But this is the biomechanical. This is kind of like the biotech kind of thing, and this got like kind of a weird. It's really kind of fucking cool. But what I was thinking, this is kind of like for the Vandal, like it would be so cool because everything seems to be biomimicry, and they have all this kind of glowing armor and stuff. Like it would be so cool. I'm excited to see the Vandal weapons and like how we could have like adaptions on those and stuff. But if you haven't seen, this is a Kickstarter game. This looks pretty wild. This is only a very short clip I took from the thing. But it's
fucked up.
It's fucking it is wild. Like
That
really
creature was on the floor.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want to say what that.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. But the gun, if you notice the way when he takes the gun out and stuff, and he kind of like plugs it, it's like, yeah,
yeah.
there's some fucking cool shit there that would be like for the Vandal. I was thinking, and
That is
those
pretty cool. That
Yeah.
is pretty
cool.
Actually, like
I mean, it's nightmarish, but like,
Yeah, it's
that's,
nightmarish, but
But I mean,
but
like
the
to a
Vandal are.
degree, to a degree, that's what the Vandal are. Yeah, like
Yeah.
like they're so warlike that even their skin is built in armor. Like they've evolved to be killing machines. So
Yeah, and I was thinking it would be like this is for Norse stories, enhanced bio-humans and mutated human story play, and that's for something else I'm going to post on Spectrum and stuff. But this is the main thing. I saw this game, and it is called Beyond Good or Evil 2. Okay, now I won't bore you to tears with everything, but you've got if you go to there is a trailer, and I'll post the link in the channel for people that are interested. Okay, you got it there. So this is a new. I'm going to say it now. This is Ubisoft's kind of. I think this is their big game.
You can stop at Ubisoft. Shit.
Okay. All right. This is their big game, but this excites me because this world looks like a Fifth Element world. They've talked about how it's going to have this very big kind of one universe type of thing. Multiplayer. It is multiplayer. This game's been already in potentially people say 10 years, but actually it's been 3 years of getting the technology ready. I love this game for the idea that it looks like it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
it looks
Whereas,
very
like,
arcadey.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be
Very
arcadey.
arcadey.
It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It could have like kind of a little bit of the kind of like
I
Grand
got a
Theft
bit of an
Auto.
Overwatch vibe from it. I don't know if you guys have
No,
the
but
same.
but when if you play the next one, which is number 68, dude, this is not like Overwatch at all. This is if you press number 68.
Bear with me.
Yes,
I'm on my
68.
way. I'm on my
Planet
way.
of the Apes meets Star Citizen. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
so
you
my
press 60.
issue.
Go for it. Karen, what's
My
68?
issue with like Beyond Good and Evil is a fantastic game. It was, I believe, originally kind of a linear story-based adventure. There wasn't just a lot of actual like
This is the gameplay. This is gameplay.
game like direct gameplay. It was more very linear, and they're kind of going for more of an open world with this one, and it's cool. It's very arcadey, but it's also not going to be the same as say like an MMO like Star Citizen. It's not going to be an MMO space game. It's going to be you have to also understand that it's
Shoot 'em
being
up
made
or
by
something.
Ubisoft.
I mean,
It's being made by Ubisoft though.
It's
How many trailers and early gameplay looks have we seen from Ubisoft?
For
And we're like,
Honor.
this looks fantastic, and then it turns out to be total garbage.
next,
For
next,
Honor,
next one,
Unity.
next one on this one on the game one. So this is number 69 because I think this is a really interesting topic.
Well, that's a good number,
The
isn't it?
reality, there's going to be number 69 is a good one. There's going to be a lot of games I think are going to start that take the procedural tech. I mean, this game, if you see on this is the guy talking about in 69. He's talking about the universe.
He can't get
69,
69
baby.
out of his head.
69. I need the soundbite from Bill and Ted for the 69, dude. But they're not doing necessarily as massive a world as Star Citizen, but they are building a universe, and they are building it so the the solar system. They are building a planet, and they're building some places to go to, and they are building the tech to having the moon go around the planet, just like Star Citizen. You know, they are building the environment, and the world changes, and it is. I mean, I will link all these links in. You guys can listen to the guy talking and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It looks good. It looks great. It looks fucking fun. I think. Honestly, I don't know.
But
Ubisoft
you're comparing
has made-
apples and pears.
There isn't anything there to really say it looks fun except for a CGI trailer.
No, it looks fun. He's a monkey in a fucking with a jetpack. That immediately says.
Wow,
I'm
okay.
immediately. That's fun.
Well, that's yeah.
I just
And
hope it
then-
doesn't turn out like the Division where the hype and then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
it's
you're
just-
comparing apples with pears a bit as well, man. So I see where you're coming from.
Nah, man,
Yeah.
nah, dude. Like seriously, they're building like a fucking universe, like
Yeah,
they're
but
building,
madness,
like
it's not in the
procedural planet. They're
scale.
doing a lot of Star Citizen shit, dude.
It's
Seriously,
not very close in the scale of what Star
And
Citizen wants to do.
as CIG has, or as CIG Sherman says, like the guy who's behind it is very good developer. Like there's no doubt about it. The problem is that I have no doubt that there are plenty of good developers out there. Chris Roberts is a good developer, and Freelancer is a shadow of what it could have been because of Microsoft. There's plenty of other things like that. This game's been in development for a long time, and I've not seen a good Ubisoft game that's come out to be exact what it was supposed to come out originally.
Yeah.
Like I'm even like very wary of Assassin's Creed Origins. I'm probably going to pick it up because I like Assassin's Creed and I like the concept, but I also do not believe it's at all going to be like what we've seen. There's going to be
the
problems
difference
with
between,
it.
I suppose, it's a game that comes out and it could be fun, but it's not necessarily close to what they market in the first place.
And
Yeah.
what you see with a lot of Ubisoft games is there is only a limited. There's an expiry date on Ubisoft games. You know,
Yeah,
give it a month,
they're
2
around for a year.
months,
They stopped supporting them for
and
a
stop
couple
supporting
months.
them. Yeah, and
I'm
what
just
Paul
saying this
says.
game is going to run this game is going to run next to Star Citizen right now. Okay, this game is going to run next. It's already
But it's
3
two
years. They
different
built the tech
games.
like Star. They've done the same thing as Star Citizen. They've built like Star Citizen's been around for 5 years, building studios and building the technology. The difference with this proves what CIG. This is why I love it, because it proves exactly what CIG has done. 5 years. They built 2 years to build the studios, and they built 3 years to build the technology. This game already had the studio because it's Ubisoft, so they built 3 years to build the technology. They're running now parallel, in my views, to create. If you actually read more of the videos and stuff, to create a similar type of open world space sim.
But a
You're
lot-
a pirate. You're
smaller
a
scale.
pirate. You're a group of friends. You're doing fun, crazy things. It is multiplayer. You're on a world. They've got big ships where ships go inside other ships. You know, okay, it could be more Destiny, but there's something there for me. And
I think
it's going to come
it's
out
way different.
about the same time. So watch it. I'm just putting it out there for people who don't know about it. Go check it out. Tell me what you think.
It's pretty cool. Like, if you're interested in it, I would suggest getting Beyond Good and Evil 1, which is it's on Steam.
It's a
on
cult,
Steam.
right? It's a
And
cult
it's a
game.
cult classic. It's definitely I mean, I wouldn't say it's something like Deus Ex, but it's similar in the terms of like the cult status of Deus Ex, or I'm trying to think of another game that's similar. But like, there are plenty of. This is one of those games where, if you are interested in Beyond Good and Evil 2, you need to play the first one. That way, you have a good idea of where the design comes from.
Yeah,
And if you like it, you might like Beyond Good and Evil 2. If you don't like it,
I'm just going to
you may
say,
not want it.
Star Citizen, please, for the sake of fun, can you please introduce either a hoverboard, like Back to the Future, or a jetpack for fun? Seriously, because everything is so damn fucking serious. Can we have a bit of fucking crazy
But
fun?
that's what this game is about.
What was so
Yeah,
good?
yeah,
no, but
yeah.
what was so good about Gamescom was like literally people just like fucking like when Gamble and that lot just did the drop thing and the releasing cats thing, and I was like, that's so
I
much fun.
totally
That
not
looks
agree
fun.
with you there. I
I just
totally
like-
not agree with you there, though.
Let's
man.
just chuck a jetpack in there. Let's just have one, just even if it's like a hover, but just something crazy.
I backed
fun.
Star
Check it in.
Citizen because of the fact that it comes very close, that it tries to keep that fidelity immersion high. Not to go catch a person with a ship, Because I'm
Nike
so
have
fucking
power
bored out of my
laces.
brains. No, but listen to me.
Hoverboards exist.
Because I'm so
Hoverboards are now.
Hoverboards exist. You can't even go on it 5 meters without losing all your fucking teeth. Listen to this, yeah. Madness. I backed this game, in all honesty. I backed this game because of its fidelity and the immersion that it promised. You know what I mean? Not and not because I want to transport a fucking noodle machine from fucking SPK to somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Honestly.
It's
Hey,
good.
look, if you want fun, you drop somebody off the atmosphere. You try to hit him with a railgun before he falls and dies.
That's
Right?
Okay.
I do
Okay, we
those
can do
Space
that.
Invaders. You be on the surface as people.
Let's do that. We'll drop people. We'll make them fun.
So, in reality, I think more than likely we're going to have something like an emergency jetpack. Yeah. Only because, think about it.
For emergencies.
Well, no, like so if you eject out in an atmosphere right now, you just fall to your death. So there's no point in ejecting an atmosphere. Ejecting only makes sense if you're going to survive the fall. And people will say, well, parachutes. But if you're on a low gravity planet that has no atmosphere, a parachute's not going to do shit. Like, it's not going to work properly. And if it does, then people are going to be really like, my immersion.
Hang on. CIG, hang on, wait. Star Citizen, CIG has always been, this is from Sherman, he says, has always been leaning towards Star Wars, especially in the high level context of what baseline ship combat tempo is aimed at. So, okay, so that's slightly different to what we're saying. It's obviously having a different conversation.
Well, that means
he was saying he was aiming towards tempo. So I was going to say, like, I was thinking we were going to have Jedi type of jumping between ships and falling down through planets and like being able to do crazy.
Sticking a lightsaber up someone's ass.
You have to find the middle ground between like super arcadey and super sim, and there needs to be a middle ground. But I think that's the idea, like having something where it also would be nice to say, like, okay, you got a flight suit. Flight suit can equip a jetpack that'll slow you down, but a regular armor pack won't. That means that people will equip flight suits when they're flying fighters, so they actually have a means to slow themselves down if they have to eject an atmosphere. Yep. That also means that if you're on the ground and you have a jetpack, you might be able to use it for a quick way to like get around somebody, jump over somebody, and then get behind them.
Matrix.
I'm just thinking like Anthem, but it's, the jetpack kind of jumping and kind
I just need a TARDIS. That's what
jumping.
I need.
Or like and again, ignoring the fact that Andromeda's got a bad thing, but they did have a cool kind of jumping system. And
well, I like Andromeda system, but the thing about Andromeda system is if you just limited it to fuel, where you only had like one or two fuel jumps or fuel for one or two jumps, that makes it a little bit more interesting because now it's something you can use in an emergency or something you can use to gain a slight advantage, but you're still at a disadvantage because you're using a flight suit and you're going to get shot once in the chest and just.
Do you know what? You know, I love. Do you know? I love that type of thinking, Paul. But if I'm being honest, as a complete prat when it comes to playing computer games, the number of times that I accidentally press the wrong button and lose all my fuel in something, or accidentally, like I could imagine myself in like just running out of fuel.
I have one thing to answer that.
Yeah. Get good, son.
Get good.
Exactly.
Get good, man.
It's just so
Change
true.
the whole game because Madness presses the wrong button sometimes. Sorry,
Madness.
I didn't know he did that. You know, he's the Manchester champion.
It's so true.
Madness.
I pressed the wrong button.
I played Arma 3 for about a year on a very
Can
high.
we get the pop-up version?
On a very high simulation level, you know, I was in a milsim unit. We were on a server with 90 people. I flew a Chinook, and I had 30 people sitting in the back. And if I pressed one wrong fucking button, 30 people would crash down, and the evening would be over. You know what I mean? So what you do is you make sure you don't press the fucking wrong button.
Tape on it. You put tape over the button. There you go. Not pressing that button again.
No, you just sit there with sweaty balls, making sure that you don't do anything wrong. You know, you're like, you know,
sweating, having a heart attack.
You know what the best way to learn not to press that button? Pressing the button and getting yourself killed. Never press that button again in the wrong time. Just saying. Learn by failure.
About 3 times.
Do you know what? I'm playing the advocate for those people that really care because I'm naturally really gifted at computer games.
Yeah.
Moving on past this terrible
He's
moment.
definitely of the special kind.
Very special. So this is okay. That was new games coming, but this is old games. Okay, so this is Battlefield 3. And
Can I just add something to that before you move on, man? So that's why in the options menu we have a simple and an advanced button. Advanced is for us, simple is for Madness. Continue that one.
No, so moving on to something far more relevant. The Squadron 42. So this was like some ideas. I was looking at. There's a mission in Battlefield 3. Okay, so it's an older game.
Yeah.
But this is a flight. So Sol, if you want to bring up the first video and the second video, there's a few little things on this mission which I thought were fantastic.
Not too many commands in one go, man. So
no, just the first
video.
First one's fine. Firstly, I love the helmet on this dude from Battlefield, where they've got the skinning and the ability to customize your helmet.
How many screens are in there?
And then this was my next thing: was notice he's got 4 visible screens. So again, this is for the.
Are we going to come back to the Gladius?
This is for the Gladius.
Do I need to tell you that this is an on rails portion of the entire game?
Fuck the fact it's rails, but what I'm meaning is what's good about this game is I agree with you. It's rails. It's not open world. But what I'm looking at I'm looking at the parts of what this is that make it.
He loves the bit that everybody raged about. That's madness for you. It's pretty much madness. Everyone's like, "Oh, fuck's sake, this is shit." He goes, "I love this. I love this."
The rails. I didn't play it. I'm looking at it from a visual, purely from a looking at it point of view. Okay, I love the head-up display. I love the fact they had 4 fucking visible displays in front of it. I like the guy's helmet in front. This is going to be Squadron 42. They've already showed us with the guy standing on the pads, like waving you off.
Madness likes helmets.
But you know what was really cool as well? It's the clouds. Remember they talked about the planets and the atmosphere and the clouds? They need to add more density of the clouds and stuff. Fuck, Jesus, honestly, it's like dealing with like children. Unbelievable. All they care about is like, I can't fucking fly to the left forever. I want to be able to fly into the horizon forever. It's not on. It's on rails. It's on rails.
Oh, there you go. Crucian
look at the sea. Look at the ocean. Look at the coloration. Dark. Looks fucking freezing. The ocean. Look at the sky. Look at and then the combat is. I love this. I loved it.
Everyone's got helmets on for you, man.
Yeah, if you go to the next one, if you go to the 74, I'm just ignoring the audience here. It's terrible. If you go to this, look at these guys. That's awesome helmets, dude, guys. If you go to the second one,
you love helmets. Yeah.
Sol.
I think I lost the movie, man.
The second one. 74.
Yeah. It's gone off the spreadsheet. Oh,
No,
look at the kitty cat.
Bothering me because I wasn't paying attention to him. So now you can also hear him.
Am I boring? If I'm boring people, it's fine. But I'm just saying.
Oh.
So which one?
I'm in the wrong document. Bear with me, man.
Go number 4.
Yeah. Bear with me. I'm in the.
So
wrong,
this is for bombing. So I was like, I mean, again, this is fucking cool, man. Like for atmosphere and stuff. I think there's a lot of really sick fucking cool things for here.
Mm-hmm. I think we're going to see a lot of that stuff in Star
I can't wait to
in the future.
For Squadron 42 is like, I think this is where, because at the end of the day, Squadron 42 is a bit more on rails. So I'm expecting to see more of, they can slow everything down a little bit more. But this was the cool. I was thinking for the bombing run. And this was the other thing, like in terms of like the visibility and the different types of viewing. Like on this game, they've got infrared, they've got night vision, they've got all the different kind of like things. Whereas we had a torch at Gamescom.
Paul, does the cat fit in the helmet and you can close it?
No, we did.
He might actually be able to fit in the helmet, and that's why I can close it. But it would
did,
be
like,
a
literally.
huge cat.
Maya and fucking and Gamble and DJ Knight were fighting each other with a torch, trying to find each other. And I was like, this game is like, they've got night vision, they've got infrared. Like, where the fuck is that shit in the game?
It's just not.
It's coming, Madness. It's fucking coming.
Here's the honest.
Have they
here's
said
the honest thing. Have you ever played Arma 2?
Alpha, yeah.
Have you played Arma 2?
I played Arma 2 and 3,
We've got fucking the dark side of the moon. You'd like to think you'd have fucking night vision going on, at least.
You got to do it right. The problem is the first time you implement it, you have to do it right. Because the issue with infrared...
Eat plenty of carrots. You'll be fine.
Number 77, Sol. Put in why thermal is better than infrared. What's your talk, Paul? Go for it.
But the thing about like infrared, thermal, night vision, you want to make it good the first time you do it. like Arma 2's like night vision was kind of garbage, and it was a mil sim, so people complained about it. You also want to make sure that you have infrared, thermal, and night vision stuff. You want to have it balanced properly, because you don't want everyone running around with fucking night vision.
Yeah.
You want to have it.
Have you ever seen two people shagging in night vision?
A meaningful choice. You know, like you want a helmet. Sure, you can get this helmet that has night vision in it, but it's not going to. It's going to be lacking something else. Having these kind of things be meaningful choices is important, because also it removes any fear or threats of like what's going on in the evening, or like in the dark sides.
Like, you want that element of surprise. What Paul says, I think, you know.
No, but hang on. But everyone talks about. But everyone's saying again. People say in chat, they go here. Hang on a minute. Why don't we build the frame before we spray on the thing? These guys talk about polish every fucking 5 seconds.
I agree that I think CIG talks about polish and does polish a little bit too
fidelity.
prematurely.
Sorry, I'm just saying, but like you could reduce
They like
a little
to
bit of
polish
polish
their
and
helmets a lot.
Put a bit of thermal in there, put a bit of infrared, put a night vision. I'm sorry, I genuinely don't see the difficulty of putting those things into.
But madness, it's not needed. Why do we need it now?
But they could have made that rather than make the 600
Alpha.
eyes. All I'm saying.
Alpha.
They haven't made the 600i. That's concept.
Okay, sorry. The Herald or the Starfarer.
But why? They already made them.
Because there'd be more. No, but I'm saying is that. I know they. But I'm saying
because when
as
they
a
made the
practical
Starfarer, like first-person shooting wasn't in. So why make a mechanic for something that's not even in the game yet?
But they did.
Why
They made a
would you do that?
Starfarer for no. But again, they made a Starfarer for a game mechanic
How
that's
do you
not even
know?
in the game yet. There's no fuel in the game yet. Have you been able to make fuel in the game since
No, the
2.0?
ships needed. Not the mechanic might not be.
Remember, a lot of the
But what-
ships are
why
in
is
there
it-
for Squadron 42. The Herald's probably in there for Squadron 42.
I will again until we see Squadron 42 or whatever else. If we don't see anything, it's fine. If that's what it's for, fine. But right now, I'm just judging it purely on what I'm playing. Okay, so
We're gonna
please-
put madness in the naughty box.
I'm just saying.
Madness, patience.
I seriously like if the Starfarer wasn't in and they had just showed me the fact. Again, it's, the way I look at it is like it's cool if you want to build atmosphere and you're saying, okay, the spacesuits, the standard Explorer spacesuit only comes with a flashlight because the Vandal have this glowing shit and they want to terrify you, and it's all about a bit more kind of Alien Isolation style gameplay where it's scary and we're building that. That's fine.
But madness, and we touched upon this a couple of times, and I see where you're coming from. But I have to agree with Miz here, and I don't know if people agree with me.
Such a fucking brown nose. Carry
No,
on.
they.
It's all right. You sniff their asses. It's fine. Carry on.
Mrs. one smells like flowers, actually.
Why have I got my glow stick?
But listen.
I also want a laser that goes pew pew rather than bang bang. I don't know why you're making a Starfarer when I want a pew pew.
But madness, but
Wait for it to be
Hang
mad.
on.
listen, they need to make the ships
Being
first.
picked on.
Being picked on. They need to make the ships first, and it's what Paul says, and I said it a couple of times. Most of the ships that we've seen completed, we needed for Squadron 42. Let's be real.
Someone has like Auroras and Mustangs. Those things needed to happen, especially the lower tier ships needed to get put in because everybody has them. And then then the upper tier ships, the only upper tier ships that we're being focused on are things that are either base
missions.
models. Yeah, base models for other things, or are used for Squadron 42. And the thing is that the ship team is not going to be making infrared models. That's not the same kind of person. Like, you're going to have a different type of programmer and team making infrared versus night vision.
They made a dark moon. That's all I'm saying. They've already made the dark side of the moon. So.
What the fuck's that got to do with anything? They've made a sun that creates dark and light through atmosphere.
But
What's that got to do with making infrared?
Madness, why would you build a
How is that
race
even
car?
quite the same?
But you've already seen them struggling to be able to see shit on the dark side. Like, I'm just saying it because I saw at Gamescom, literally, they were like running around like fucking headless chickens.
Wasn't made just so we can go.
Okay. Do you
Like
NASA,
when you
I
go
guarantee
out at night for a
Bear
walk-
with
when
boys,
you-
bear
when
with
you go
boys,
for a
one at a
night-
time.
When you go for a walk at night, right, in real life, have you got some real, infrared light
I'm not wearing a
vision or-
fucking spacesuit.
No, shut up. No, shut the fuck up. No. Or do you carry
Maybe
a
you are.
fucking
Maybe
torch?
Paul is.
You carry a
No.
fucking torch. Shut the fuck up.
I don't know about you, dude.
It needs to be. The honest answer is it needs to be a meaningful choice. Having
Exactly.
infrared versus
yes.
night vision has to be a meaningful choice. If it's not a meaningful choice, if everyone has it, then fuck off. Why the hell would I even need a torch? What's the point of having a torch if I have fucking God vision all the time? You know.
But why do we need it now? We don't need it now either, Paul. You know what I mean?
His point is that we now have areas which are dark, which you could use infrared or night vision to see a little bit better. I think the honest answer isn't do we need a torch or do we need infrared. I think the answer is that why the fuck is night so dark? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Have you ever been in a place where there is no light pollution and you just see stars? Stars light the shit up out of things. All right, it's pretty fucking bright at night, even if it's dark.
Have you been on the moon?
Oh, well, I've been snowboarding. I've been snowboarding where there's no fucking light at all, and you can see the craziest shit, and it's pretty. I gotta agree with you. When the moon is out, that shit is
the
bright.
moon that creates the light, not the stars.
If any kids are watching, we do not condone drugs.
When you've got a full moon.
But what I was, this is the thing is with my thing is I was going the whole point of what I was going to say was that for the three I was going to say like we have the torch, we have night vision. There's thermal, and then there's a video here on the 78 which is beating thermal, which was talking about gameplay mechanics in terms of I was saying we have different ways of being able to see at night, and I was saying like it would be sweet if we can have those ways, but they're not all perfect. The night vision is actually quite limited. You can't really see somebody like in that video you saw. You can't really see them very clearly because their body temperature isn't shown up at night. You can see the overall kind of the outline of the kind of the world and stuff.
That's
but
because night vision shows you more the landscape.
Yeah, exactly. And then the thermal, you can then see the person maybe a bit better. But then in the final video, this is what I'm getting to, is you can beat thermal by having, heat resistant suits and heat. Like the guy's literally got a cat, and I think he's wearing a tent, and he like literally releases the cat. You can't see him, but the cat kind of pops out, and you see the cat in the heat. And this was my thing. Is like I was trying to say that there's not going to be a perfect of a way to see at night, but it'll be cool if we had more options. That was kind of where I was
imagining someone walking around in a tent.
Jesus, we got that. Yeah, well, but cooling, you get cooling suits and stuff.
While I agree, man,
It's just a topic of conversation.
I think that it still needs to be a meaningful choice. Everything in this game needs to have a meaningful decision making behind it.
Wearing a tent.
Yeah. Do you want to wear your tent?
Bio has been walking around with a tent all fucking week.
I think I've come to a conclusion. I definitely I live on a different world to the rest of you guys. Right, moving on. Let's go on to something else. So let's go. We've got
Bio.
Dorset.
It's not. There's some images there.
We got ATV to go through. We've done that.
Yeah,
already.
I know.
Mission systems. Let's do bios at the end. We got the mission systems.
Let him do a quick.
It's not really much to say. It's not really much to say.
Right,
it's just to say that the Dorset bar is in the very first one really well. We had quite a few people turn up. Quite a few drinks went round. It was really good fun. Huh?
I'm just thinking, why didn't you do this at the beginning when you talked about your week?
Yeah.
It was.
It would have made a lot more sense in that period of time.
I could have done, yeah, but I thought, just add it in, just
I have to say, the man's beard is good. The man's beard is good.
Yeah. He's a new member of Addicted as well, so
that's a surprise.
That's a surprise. Did you talk him into
someone
this?
and they joined Addicted? Fuck me, that's a surprise.
No, we plan to do some other things as well. Like we're doing, we're going to be doing some star paintballing. That's going to get a group of people and go do that as well.
You're going to run around with your helmets on.
So you're doing Star Marine. You're doing Star Marine.
Vision.
Star Marine.
Yeah, we're going to be doing Star Marine with torches. Yeah.
You have more players.
Running around with wearing tents.
Okay.
Right, let's move on.
Let's move on. Mission systems, right? Okay, so I want to know what you guys thought. Like Tony Z talked about the missions, the Subsumption. Is this new stuff? I don't know much about like Paul. I think you and Crucian guys, you guys look like you're hardcore,
Well, I've mentioned this stuff many times. Many times.
Is this new? Subsumption?
Not really.
And
No.
this AI type of
This is stuff that
is this fresh?
This is stuff they've talked about for so long, but it's something they've improved on.
No, but I mean
they're just showing the improved versions of it. No,
I mean, in the gaming world, like out there in terms of games.
No, it's not new. Well, I mean, it's new to me, but it no other developer would use that word about the AI. In all honesty.
Yeah,
The honest answer is that there are systems that are similar to the Subsumption system. There
But
may
not
be
this
games out
intense.
there that have used it
Yeah.
but are smaller, simpler games. That's the answer is that, and I think CIG gets really defensive about this as well, is that most of the stuff they talk about being unique to Star Citizen aren't really unique. But the key is that like, have there been games that use zone systems for like gravity and stuff? Oh yeah, I mean Hallion's done it now. Worlds of Drift has done it. There was that one game. It was called Guns of Icarus. Did it? There's a couple other games that have done a similar system, or they've hacked it to make it look like a similar system. But no one has done it with the scale that CIG is planning.
Yeah, the depth that they're going to with it.
Like the thing is that a lot of the content that they have is stuff that's tested, used technology. Even FOIP isn't new. FOIP was in Guild Wars 2.
Yeah.
But still,
EverQuest 2 even.
or EverQuest. I'm sorry, not Guild Wars. It was in EverQuest 2. Is what it was in. But still, it being in this game along with everything else, EverQuest is a different type of MMO than Star Citizen's trying to go for. So I don't know if Subsumption's been in other games. I know there have been similar systems.
I think probably to this level, definitely not.
So you said
it's not.
that's the
Because
unique part of it, then you'd say. Scale of what they're trying to achieve, rather.
Well, not just that, I think, because like so for Subsumption in most games it'd be kind of like the whole what they're saying, like the reputation system, so they'll recognize you on your reputation as well, things like. Whereas for Star Citizen, they're going right from everybody is going to have like a life. These NPCs are supposed to have a life. They'll get up, they'll go to work, they'll do something, and they'll finish. And so like that's the full scale. And I don't know if any other game's gone to that sort of level and detail. They might have a certain amount, but nowhere near to that, where they've actually given them a full script to live by.
Yeah.
What standing in one place and then standing in one place the whole time.
So like Skyrim and Fallout 4 have like their Fallout and Elder Scrolls have similar AI systems, but they're scripted. They're not unique. Like they don't deal with interruptions very well, and if they do, they have a canned response that they make, and that's it, and they continue on with their journey. Whereas Subsumption, the concept behind Subsumption is take that, give them a path and like a problem-solving system where they can figure out, oh, this path is blocked, I'll go around it, or I'll find an alternate route to go through. And
give them multiple options as well. Yeah.
Give them options to, if this happens, then I'm going to do this. If this, then that. If this, then that. Like, which is more complicated, and it makes them feel more realistic. But at the same time, it also makes, if you think about it, every AI you see will have something attached to that. So it makes the system itself that they have to develop very complicated and time consuming, but once it's done, it becomes easy to implement because it's something you just attach to every AI. The issue is, of course, making it polished and make sure it's not using tons of information and clogging up the whole systems.
I think that's the key thing. I think, like you said, in like Skyrim and that, it's a scripted. Although they've got behavior,
single
it's still
player
scripted.
experience.
Whereas on their version of what they want to get done is, so if you had like a shopkeeper that he could just sit there all day because he's selling stuff. However, if you then go and buy his stock, he might look at his stock and go, "Oh crap, I'm low on that," and then walk over somewhere else and get more stock from the stock room. Now that would never happen unless you go up to that shopkeeper and buy that stock off of him. So it's not a scripted thing. He's actually kind of living it. That's the Subsumption part of it. So that he won't move necessarily unless you buy that stock off of him, and then he realizes he needs more, and he'll go and get it. So, and it's that system times 10,000 with everything else. So
I'm really interested to see how it copes with multiple interactions. So, say for example, Mitzi, you just described it. Let's just say like the bartender has responds differently to you the more you interact with him. Like they talked about it with the progression of Tessa. Like she likes you the more you're there. So say the more you go back to the same bar, the barkeeper knows what you like, knows who you are, kind of like knows
It's
what you
like
want to
in real
order.
life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. He like you want the same again.
If you went to the
madness?
doctor
Yeah.
10 times because you have crabs, he knows that you're going to come in the 11th time that you have crabs
And
as
then-
well, you know what I mean?
But this is it. Like he hands you that drink, but then he's like, "Hey, stranger, what do you want?" You know what I mean? Like that really
That's exactly what's
clever
supposed to happen. Yeah.
AI. That for me, if they can get to that level of like subsumption and
Guten
AI
Tag.
intelligence, where they can recognize like they communicate to you differently to the person that sat next to you, like your friend that's just come into the game. That will blow me away. Literally,
It will be
fucking
there, you
blow
know what I
me
mean?
away. I'll be amazed. at that.
We've
Like,
seen it
wow.
in this week's ATV. I don't know if you want me to
Wow.
play Tony Z's part where he explains it, and Luke touched upon it as well, where he said, okay, we had to touch up all the missions that we did previously to it, so it's something that they came up
Well, they
with
scrapped
later.
the missions they had
They
before.
had to scrap the
smart.
missions indeed and rebuild them completely, you know, because of this idea, which I think is a good thing, man. Is, you know, what is more boring than a game where they say, okay, you need to collect A at point B and eventually go to point C. Well, with this one is you can collect you can collect a mission at point A, but you can bring it to D, C, E, F, G, or you could do something totally different and bring it to X, Y, Z. You know what I mean? Or you know, and I think
Can I
that
say-
makes it. No
can I say
mission will be
sorry
the
to-
same. No, go ahead.
Just to interrupt you, because we're watching what's on video on the screen right now. These guys look like they're the fucking Walking Dead right now.
They're not
I
even-
am a zombie and I'm walking up. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, they talk about like breaking realism. Well, right now, my realism is broken. They just look fucking zombies, right? Like, who walks like that? Seriously.
But I mean, that's the first time they introduced AI, so give them a break. Like,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, to a degree, you're also not going to see perfect.
Dude, we've seen. I'm not being funny, but like ignoring the fact that it's in a beautiful surroundings, but we've seen a lot of them moving animations, walking around like little arrows recently over the last 6 years.
stiff. Yeah.
We've seen a lot of this. I'm sorry. I agree with what you're saying. Like, give them a break, fucking man. But like, I've seen a lot of these animations walking around lines and stuff, and they've been saying how great they're becoming. And I'm like, well, it still looks like he's literally looks like he's.
He looks like
taking-
he's.
He looks like someone
he's
shoved
just
up his
seen-
ass.
No, he looks like
Yeah.
he's just seen something what's just like mortified him.
Can I
Like,
add to that,
he's like,
man?
I'm gonna go find somewhere and just like jump
Can I
off the edge.
defend CIG in this?
I think what Madness has got a point is if you look at all these people watching as they're looking through the loop, you can see that they all have this. They have perfect fucking posture as they're
It's like,
But I think
There's
Paul.
no slouching. There's no, and I think that would add a little bit of variation. But this also may just be a first pass of animation.
Exactly.
Because they probably just plonked
But
one
Paul,
animation
and-
on all of the models just to see how they walk around the station. They haven't given them different animation states. They've just made them walk.
and I'm going to say, like, he manages to casually take 2 steps without even having to break a stride of any kind.
But Madness,
You notice, well, look, watch how he takes. Seriously, have you
Madness.
go up any 2 levels of stairs? Your leg extends to a different degree. Your the whole body changes. Go casually, like, look at the watch. Where do you watch? 2 steps coming up.
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah.
Whoa, 2
Listen,
steps.
the video is behind on my side. So what they're trying to point out with this is they react to things on the floor, cabling, plating, stairs.
Really?
Okay, it's still very what you say. There's very stiff posture, but you can see that there's a difference between the plate on the floor and he steps on the floor, then he steps over the cable. And I think that's what they're trying to point out with this video. You see that he's going down, you know what I mean? When he comes down from the plate in the beginning, he's going down a bit. And before, it went straight through the plate, you know what I mean?
It's alpha. Everything's alpha.
It's
Yeah.
alpha.
It's fine.
It is
Yeah,
alpha.
it's
Well
alpha.
done. You're finally realizing.
I'm just saying. I've seen the
Can
animations.
someone give
for
Madness a sticker?
10 months. 10 months. I've seen men walking.
Let's give him a
by.
clap, everyone. Let's give man.
I've been seeing 10 months. 10
Yes,
months.
Madness.
Stop
Here's
walking around
the
corners.
here's the actual reality of things.
I know.
It takes a while for this stuff to get fixed.
It does.
takes a while for it to get made.
It
And
does.
what they're showing off here, I think they may actually be showing off, if I remember correctly, that this was an old footage that they didn't like, or that they were showing off pathing. I don't remember exactly what this was referencing, but I do remember Tony Z saying something like, you have really unnatural movements and it breaks you out of the immersion.
Yeah, he might. That might be.
Yeah.
That you're right. That might be. He might be
Yeah.
saying that's an example. I wish they would just say like, "This is an example of what Tony is exactly talking. This is bad." You know, like underneath it.
We don't need to fucking
Not
give
good.
you everything on the
We've-
plate, do we?
We've improved
But-
on this. Don't
But
worry.
at the
This
end,
is shit.
but at the whole concept behind this is that we're going to see, you could follow a dude, wake up, go to his job, go to lunch, go back to work, come back home, go out, grab a beer, grab a pint, then come back to his place, pass out, wake up, and do the whole thing over again. And we'd see it
Having
over
an
and
affair on
over and
Friday.
over again. Yeah, and then and see his variations and see what happens as a result.
It better not take a fucking day off, though. I'll tell you that.
Fuck his wages.
And what I think they're trying to push on as well, guys, is the fact that if he goes out for lunch and there's a fight in the bar, that his day might go differently because he's run into things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the prisoner actually says that what we were seeing was actually, he confirmed that was bad. That we showed.
That was bad. Okay, thank you.
What he showed was that this is what he's talking about. It looks really stiff.
So I
when you're
will,
not doing it right.
I will just, yeah, that's fine. That makes sense. That's what explains why I'm like, oh my god. For the gentleman in Saints, by the way, just so you know, I've worked in film briefly for a period of time. I've learned visual effects, and I have some friends who work at ILM, and who can do some of the most amazing VFX and animations stuff in like a week. So just to answer your question, I've seen some, I've seen people like in a week build code to make people.
And now he designs shoes.
And I design shoes for a living, so. I'm not speaking from like a place where I don't know in terms of amazing animations. Okay, it's not for games, but I guarantee I would happily talk to a few people in terms of like, and come back to you if you really wanted to. If we wanted to have a really deep conversation, I could talk to a few of my friends, and we could find out exactly what they think of that.
He'll meet you in the corner. He'll meet you in the corner.
No problem. I mean, it's not bullshit. I'm genuinely like, I'm more than happy to have that conversation. Genuinely happy to have that conversation, dude.
Just come in the Addicted Discord, mate. You can speak to him in there, man.
And he'll try to get you into Addicted.
My mate worked on what was the movie, Inception.
Okay.
And he works on the new Star Wars movies as well. Yeah.
So this is a video for madness.
So we can blame him for everything.
You can blame him for everything.
This is a video for madness, and I will play it with sound also on the stream. I think this is a very good one. Here is where Tony Z explains what is subsumption.
Subsumption allows complex systems to be broken down into hierarchical components that can be quickly and easily combined to create logical and layered systemic effects. It does this via enforcing a lot of structure so that the base elements know how to properly interface with one another, and so that non-programmers can quickly construct large quantities of content. The speed of implementation is actually extremely important, since larger component dictionaries equate to a greater ability for the system to craft an appropriate response to a particular set of inputs. NPCs don't start to truly look intelligent until they can understand, prioritize, and appropriately respond to a lot of different stimuli. And missions start to very quickly feel boring and repetitive if there's not enough variation. So with Subsumption, these base components are just the starting points. Many of them can be algorithmically modified, customized on the fly, so that the game can more effectively respond to a given situation. Subsumption.
That was it. It's still running on the podcast here, on the stream, yeah.
I'm still watching it on the screen.
Sorry.
Okay. So that made no sense to me because I switched off.
So what he's saying in layman's terms.
Go ahead, Paul.
In layman's terms, what he was saying was the system. Think of the system like have you ever seen like a character sheet for like an RPG, like a pen and paper RPG that has like dislikes and likes and like stats? You can imagine a subsumption systems taking that, being a character sheet for individual NPCs, and giving them a set of desires and fears, as well as their own basic stats. So when they encounter a situation, they will pull from their desires, their fears, and their hopes and dreams and everything, and it'll figure out, and as an algorithm, how would this person react? You've seen, if you've ever played a game like RimWorld has a similar system in the sense that each individual colonist has their own personality, and they have traits and they have quirks which cause them to not necessarily like everybody. Sometimes they rub themselves each other the wrong way, and if they reach a certain point status in terms of their social status, they get in a fist fight, or they just literally pull out weapons and start attacking each other, even if they're in the same colonists, or they go crazy and start like lighting shit on fire. So like those are of course extreme examples, but Subsumption is a similar system to that in the sense that it's designed to be modular enough that a programmer can just take a look at it, or like, you know, can create something based off the system without having to go to an AI programmer and say, hey, I need this AI to do this, this, and this. It's designed to be plug and play.
What I think a good example is how do we respond to situations? I respond differently to a situation than Krug does. Miserable responds different to a situation. For example, I see a snake. I'm afraid of the snake. I run away. You could, for example, I'm going to grab that snake, Steve Irwin style. You know what I mean? Going to grab it. You know, it's good.
Madness will grab the snake.
Leave the snake away.
No, that's at its basic.
Stupid example.
As its basic core, you can think of it like a fight or flight system.
Yeah.
Which of these AIs will fight? Which of them will run away?
Because like the Divinity game that I'm playing at the moment is similar to that, because like all the characters have got tags. So depending on what tags you have, and you pick on the character creation is how people react. So if you're undead, some people will be happy to see you, others not. So it's kind of a system like that where they've built it all into the hidden stats of it. But I think what Tony was trying to say as well is it's not just on a character level basis as well. So I think one of the examples they said was to make it so that it's easier for designers, instead of having to say a designer going up to them and saying, well, we want 3 ships here in this galaxy to fight against them, and in this one we want 4 ships. They're saying that even the environment will affect that. So the designer, all they have to do is the designer would have to say, well, we want to do a blockade here. And then depending on whether you're in a rough part of space or a high security part of space would depend on how many ships turn up. So instead of them having to say, well, we need 3 security, it will literally just be, we want a blockade, and it's Port Olisar. And then the system itself will go, well, hang on, Port Olisar is really heavily protected, right? This is going to have 20 security ships turn up and only 1 pirate. Whereas if you have it near Grim Hex, you'll have 20 pirates turn up and maybe 1 security or no security, and you have to fight your way through. But the designers won't have, so it should all speed things up, because the designers won't have to be more specific. They'll just pick a scenario or an event that they want, and the environment will react to that.
With the tool that they have, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say Subsumption, right? Okay, here's the thing. When I hear the word Subsumption, all I think is the word assumption. And then I think of, you know what they say about to assume something? It makes an ass out of you and me. Think about that.
No, it's got something completely different. It has nothing to do with Subsumption. Paul, go ahead.
Well,
What did you want to say?
It's actually in the same. Actually, no. If you look at the definition of Subsumption, it's a type of assumption, premises, minor premise. It actually, if you look at the definition of a subsumption, incorporating something under a more generic category, the premise of synonymism that contains the minor term which is subject to the conclusion. And it's synonyms, minor premise, and then type of assumption, premise, or premise. So assumption is also a longer version of assume, which comes to the classic phrase of.
So this is your typical Reddit user.
What I'm saying, he's not wrong.
No, he's right, but I don't think exactly in the context. You know,
no, I'm not.
AI are making up assumptions of the world, or the game system is making assumptions based off of the situation and extrapolating from it. That's the point.
So what I'm saying is it's a bit of a play on the word, but I'm just making a joke of the fact that we hear a lot of talk, and I just fucking want to say this.
But you need such a system, Madness, to create a variety and a living world. And what Tony is talking about is the tool that they have, that they don't have to grab each individual character and give them things. No, they can randomize, so they can say, okay, this character, pow, throw this package
It makes making unique missions or locations
a lot
easier, because it just becomes, all right, we have base status for this area, base stats for this area. These are the kind of people, these are the kind of decisions they'd make. Go.
Exactly, yeah.
What happens? Like, basically, you're letting a bunch of AI out. Like, in theory, no players could ever be part of the universe, and the Subsumption system would run a fully functioning economy on its own. That's the basis idea.
It basically automates what we would do in the game on a daily basis, the choices you make, the things you do, the certain character you have that you do those things, you know what I mean? It basically does what we do as a human brain and what we would do in 3 hours of gameplay or 6 hours of gameplay or an hour of gameplay, and would translate that into a system that does that automatically. So if you run into an NPC, you could have an NPC could, for example, and that's something that I really like, you could run into an NPC that's very similar to you. You like that NPC. For example, what's the dude's name again in Daymar, the dude where we discussed the jacket about Miles, for example. You could really build a relation because you can see, oh, I like Miles. Miles thinks a similar way than I have, or Tessa thinks in a similar way than I do. And I think it's really nice that you could run into certain characters that you don't like and certain characters that you like. And for example, that would make a choice for going for a certain faction very easy as well. For example, oh, I like this dude from the pirate faction. I like the way they do things. I like the way they think. That will lean you more towards that certain faction. Oh, I like that military style more. I like the it will bring a whole open world, and you might have a whole different idea than I have about it, Madness. So that will bring people into.
I'm excited by it.
It will build a world. You know what I mean? It will build a real living world.
AI, the smarter they make the AI, and
the better it's going to be for us.
It's that simple, really. Exactly, is that simple. Yeah. And I'm excited by when Tony they talk about the thing is like I just like to see that the way I look at it is it's like Google X. They talk about moonshot ideas. I think with this game is like they are aiming. I guess in another way, it's like for the American guys. It's like American football. It's like if you aim for perfection, everyone knows to hit a perfect game is just unachievable. But in the pursuit of perfection, you achieve something just underneath, which is called excellence. And that's the thing is they are wanting to do
perfection,
like the perfect AI, smart subsumption, game mechanics, whatever. I don't think they'll achieve it, but by having that as the main goal, they will achieve something excellent. And I'm very excited by it. And,
exactly.
I think that's what gets me excited by it. I genuinely just want to fucking see it working.
But it takes time, Manny.
I know it takes time, but we're 3 years
time, Manny.
I know, and I'm like, how much time?
We need to give it time.
Come back in another couple of years.
I know.
Honestly,
it's fine. I got Destiny 2 coming, boys. Destiny 2 in a week. Yes, I'm excited.
Is it in a week?
Yeah, no. Destiny 2, 26th, 24th, 26th.
I thought it was
October, Madness.
No, fuck off.
Yes. October.
Fuck off.
26th of October.
No.
Bungie and Activision screwed us, us PC gamers, 2 months after the initial release.
Yep. Well, I suppose at least you got it this time, because last time you didn't get the Destiny one. So.
Listen,
I'm gonna raid.
Dude, this is the only way where console has an advantage when it releases before PC. Other than that, you're gonna have 3 million people on PS4, 3 million people on Xbox. When it comes
I've got PlayStation. I just
200,000 people.
Madness. Let me put it this way. Just think of it this way. They're beta testing it for you. The console peasants are beta testing it for you.
It's an evil Cuddy. It's an evil Cuddy at the moment.
We're gonna when it releases, we're gonna have the raids available.
Good.
We're gonna have all of
you
the
boys, if you're up,
related,
talking to I played Destiny. That was my shit, man. I fucking love that game. So
I like it
anyone, hit me up. Hit me up
PC.
For sure.
Just hold on strong for the PC. Almost there.
Fucking man.
So
yeah.
On a different note, what did you guys think of what did you guys think of what Aaron Roberts said about the bugs in the ATV? Do you want me to play it for you guys? You want me to I think we didn't. I wanted to play that one. I found it very interesting in what he said about the bugs coming. What's up?
Nothing.
I'm sorry.
So I'm playing it now.
The first thing I want to make sure is to traverse the system easily and well.
Bugs Life, nobody wants to watch
this set of bugs.
Oh my god, that Bugs Life was like
from going in, taking off, ATC working, QT working.
It was Bugs Life.
You have to go to locations, all that kind of stuff. We just get that working, and so it's not a night. Not going in that maps all the time, trying to work whether I can jump to places and so forth. We can do that kind of stuff.
We touched upon it a bit in the beginning.
It's a really good start for Evocati because it's a lot of fun. It's fun. You go down to planets, you do stuff.
Oh, it's just.
But basically, he mentions the word fun. So he basically says, "Oh, we want to push this out."
98. Holy fucking shit! I'm old. Sorry.
What?
Carry on. It came out in
Oh, I heard any of
1998.
that.
Bugs
What's it?
Life came out in
Bugs Life,
Bugs
yeah.
Life came out in 1998.
What is Bug's Life?
It's a movie.
It's the Pixar animation.
Is that the one in the garden?
I don't know what gave it away. Yes, that's the one in the garden.
Okay.
Oh my god, I'm old. Wow, 1998. Like, hang
We're
on,
not that
hang on.
old, man. You're as old as you feel.
Just mute the fucker.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Can you just tell us what Aaron Robbins said? Because like
no one was listening, but he basically said you wanted
Matrix
to.
came out in 99.
Bear with me. Where's
Sorry.
the button? No, it's alright.
carry
We have
let him relive his life. He's muted now.
Perfect. So
Okay,
he
let's carry
basically
on.
said he wanted to push the game out with those bugs in there, and it's going to be fun. What do you guys think of that one? How do you guys?
Isn't that what we were kind of talking about at the start?
A bit earlier.
That's
yeah,
why
yeah,
why the bugs have gone down to 26.
Yeah.
It's like they're gonna put it out.
It's going to be fun. It's not
Fine.
going to be fun. I'm sorry, Aaron. It'll be absolutely exhilarating. Like I'm
It'll be
Evocati.
Evocati fun.
I'm an Evocati, so I look forward to playing the game
too.
in its early version, to like running around, be like, oh my god, I'm good on a planet, all this kind of stuff. But it's not going to be fun because we're going to have lots of bugs. Like, you don't want this to be your first experience playing the game, playing 3.0. You don't want to have it. The reason why I'm doing it is because, and I'm sure the same with lots of Evocatis, because not necessarily because we want to get it early, but because we want to help find the bugs
yeah.
to make it easier for other people. It also helps that I'm a content creator, so I can make some videos and put that shit up on YouTube when it goes into PTU. So I have instant visuals. But a lot of other content creators do the same thing. You know, we have early access to it, and we can make videos with the Evocati and then release it once it gets to PTU and like edit it, so we have everything ready to go.
But really, it's a bug testing.
I mean, it is. It's
No,
designed to put a lot of stress. Like, usually in an Evocati, I'll put in 4 to 5 hours in an Evocati over a week, depending on if I have time to do so. And you know, sometimes it's nice, sometimes it's frustrating, but overall, it's not an experience I would want an average gamer to have.
I mean, we get enough moaning as it is, and if they think it's all, oh, you're just getting your hands on it first, and it's not. Trust me, we've had some hell patches, and really, when it goes to first wave PTU, I think even then there's been a few times where I felt like they've released them to first wave PTU far too early. But it's because people are desperate, and then they want to get more people on there to bug test. But yeah, we've had quite a lot of unplayable build.
Yeah. Boys, we've spoken about the Subsumption a lot. I say we're going to move on to the questions.
All right.
Yeah, we've gone through most of it now.
Am I still muted? But
No, you're good.
It's
man.
it's only hour 3 of the podcast. I only start.
It's gone past that, mate.
Miss, you wanna open them up for us and start reading them out?
I did think with you guys on, we might, go on a little bit longer.
Okay, well, we've got a whole 3 questions.
Didn't Madness...
3 questions!
Madness had a curfew. What happened?
No, the missus. She's gone. She's already gone. She's taking my balls with her.
Well, I've actually got a question. What was that? I missed that. I totally missed that. What was that?
He was just saying Guten Tag. I'm bitter. That's what he said.
We brauchen ein Flugzeug für die Kanarienvögel.
Any man that knows I'm married.
Come on, chat, and all you can hear is the wife in the background. I'm going to cut your balls off.
You weren't here, Bio, were you?
No, I wasn't. No.
So basically, Madness jumped on the Discord, and the only thing we could hear was his wife.
So good.
Yeah.
Going, are you gonna fucking finish on time this time? I'm like, well, I mean, we've got AstroPub and CrucianGaming on, so I don't think we will be. We'll probably be going over.
Well, then she goes, I'm going to cut your balls off.
And she didn't take the bottle of wine with her either this time, so that's my biggest mistake. Right?
You said there's only 3 questions. There is something I was going to ask all of us, like what we plan to do, because with being streamers and content creators, it's hard to kind of keep the ball rolling with what we've got so far. So
actually, if your wife has them.
So for 3.0, I was trying to say, so what do you plan to do first? But what do you plan to do in the long haul to keep it going for your viewers?
Bio. So
Exclamation mark question.
Exclamation mark question. If you go to the VODs of our previous podcasts, you can see that this question has already been answered.
The last 3 weeks you missed, that question's been asked every time.
Has it really? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But for Crucian and Astro, let's start up with you guys because I think
Astro,
you guys went to.
That's why they've never answered this question.
Fight Club.
Sure.
Fight Club.
Oh.
Nice.
Getting everyone in a
pub.
ship, and just be like, all right, cool. Like things like duels, like 10 paces and fire, and then in like a caterpillar, and everyone else is on like the catwalks and watching people like strafe around and shoot at each other or melee each other to death.
You know what would be good, Paul? So different stages per compartment of the caterpillar. So the first fight is an easy fight, and the next bit is a harder fight.
Chuck
and
some
the next
fire
bit is
on the
harder
floor.
fight.
You got to try and dodge the fire. The next one, you got spikes coming in from the walls.
Nails. Oh my god.
Now, but there's lots of things you can do. Like the problem is that the thing is that more than likely the stuff that we're going to be able to do to keep ourselves entertained long term is stuff that we haven't even thought about. No one would have thought when 2.0 came out that one of the biggest things is to take a fucking Benny's machine and push it all the way up to your room in Port Olisar. No one thought that was going to be.
And then this patch is trying to get like 1 million AUECs.
I made a challenge of getting 1 million AUEC before 3.0 drops, and now like Detox has picked it up, and a bunch of other people have picked it up just because it was a good way of killing time. Forcing yourself to stop, refuel, reload.
Maybe for you, not for me.
I think Uber Nerd's on like nearly 3 million or something.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Uber Nerd's like at almost 3 million, and
I lose money every time I
like
play.
1.5 million. So
Crazy shit.
So, but with the main thing, what I'm trying to say with that question is like, do you think we're going to be able to have something to do each day until 3.1 comes out?
No,
it's like we've struggled with like the current.
I think there's gonna be a point in time where we're gonna be like we are now.
Yeah. How long do you reckon it's gonna be until we get to that point?
We can't say, can we? Until we've tried 3.0. Hard to know.
Exactly.
The other advantage that 3.0 has is that 3.0 is going to have a complete game loop. You can buy ship equipment, you can buy other equipment like personal equipment. You can have. And there's going to be missions that you'll do that will be unique. It's not like you do the same 9 ICC missions every time. They're going to be generated based off of algorithms. So it'll be like, go to this wreck on this moon, return it to this place. And sometimes that'll just be you doing that. Sometimes somebody will show up. Sometimes AI will show up. It depends on what kind of mission it is.
Do you know what's interesting with that, Paul, is I wonder if there will come a point where we'll know there's a certain type of
Oh, we will.
Sucks ass.
Yeah.
We'll be like, I don't. And the thing is like, I don't want to do that mission. That's shit.
We're gonna figure it out. We'll
I mean?
game the system within the first week. People will game the system in the first week.
Like right now, I'm still so new. I'm still new to the game. I've had the game for 2 years. I'm still so new to it. Like I used to play the game with mouse and keyboard. Now I have a fucking HOTAS. Like I have a boner now, and now I got a voice attack. Kid is yelling at me, and I'm yelling at her to shoot missiles. So like I'm actually having fun. So
that's the thing. It's good. That's cool, man. That's cool.
And I have friends.
Find ways to enhance the game to make it better for you. And
just a little tip: don't let Madness give any kind of command bot thing because he set someone up for mine. Remember Madness ages ago?
I have no idea.
You asked me to set one up to say, "Show us your tits." And you picked the response. It was fun.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Yes, you did.
There's no evidence of this anywhere.
Yeah, I can set it up now.
But I agree with Crucian. I think that me and a few of the other pilots we've reached like a ceiling, and so for us it's like pedals, joysticks, voice attack, track IR, all these other things that you can
steering wheel, pedals.
they add more immersion. I agree with you completely in terms of like taking that. If you're a bit bored right now and you don't know how to add a little bit more excitement to the game, I completely agree. Get a hostess if you don't have it. Get dual joysticks. Get pedals. Get
a stripper in a hotel.
Get walking.
I'm not good with pedals.
It gives you that little bit like we're waiting for 3.0. So if you need another couple months of something to keep you into it, I agree, dude. Like get something if you've got the money. Totally cool way of adding a little bit of excitement to the game that makes it fresh.
And I'm telling you, when I went from mouse to holders, totally freaking different.
Well, you also can't, like, people like us have been playing the game for years straight, and I have a friend who only comes in once every 2 years, maybe once every year to play the game, and it blows his fucking mind when he went from the last time he played was like 1.3 and then 2.6 he came in to play, and he was like, holy fuck, you have this huge system, and like all the missions were new to him, all the new ships were crazy.
But that's the best thing to do, Paul. You know what I mean? For us, it's harder because we're content creators. But before I started streaming, I used to do that, and that made it really good.
90% of the population of Star Citizen is like that. They haven't touched the game at all, and a lot of them, I would say, maybe 30 to 40% of those people will actually show up for 3.0 launches because it actually adds in things they want to do. Yeah. So for us, even if 3.0 will burn out of 3.0 pretty quickly, those people will still be picking up stuff that we picked up back in 2.0.
Yeah.
I think if you asked me what I'm going to do in 3.0,
fight.
I wouldn't be surprised if I just do exactly what I've been doing in 2.6. Within 5 seconds, I'll probably be engaged in somebody in a fight, and then I'll probably just take it down to the planet and then have another fight, and then it would be long before I'll probably go.
You'll be the only one in space dogfighting because everybody else is on the planet. Walking around going, oh my god, I'm on a planet.
And then they'll get bored and there won't be that much to do, and this cargo's not very exciting, and if there's something, they'll return back to the areas that keep them entertained. So I think
I still remember that I was walking around with a stiff
PvP,
Johnny because I could walk around in my hangar. You know what I mean? I basically my nipples were hard because I could open up the door in my freaking freelancer max. You know what I mean? And it evolves. I
look at the games that have the longevity.
So what are you going to be like when you can get the Cutlass Black at rework and just like totally use that shit? It's going to be awesome, isn't it?
Like, can I ask a question? Like, what's the longest games, like in terms of like games that you've played consistently over and over again? What is the
9
game? 9
years of World of Warcraft.
What? Yeah, and in those games,
12 years of World of Warcraft.
and is it competitive PvP?
I get bored too easily on games, so
that's kept you into it.
No, it was rating. It was rating
together.
Honestly, between Arma 2, the Arma 2 mod and the standalone for DayZ, I probably had 1,500 to 2,000 hours in it.
Wow.
Probably
and that's
more.
And what I'm saying, like, what part of that game kept getting you going back to it over and over again?
The new content, obviously.
New content, but also like the interaction, like, because the thing about PvP, and this is what I always hate. Lazy PvP is you see someone, you shoot someone in an open world. That's lazy as fuck. It's not interesting. It gets boring really quickly.
Yeah.
The interesting content with PvP is stuff like, so this is what we used to do when we were bored in DayZ. We called ourselves the Flashlight Bandits, and what we would do is we'd come up because you spawn
a flashlight or a flashlight.
Please tell me that.
You said flashlight.
Flashlight.
We could have been the Flashlight Bandits, if you know what I mean.
I like the idea of that more. It's kind of funny.
Bandits.
I guess for those of you guys across the pond, it would be like Torch Bandits.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone spawns with a flashlight.
Yeah.
And you.
Sorry, carry on. I'm chuckling because he's ruined what I was thinking. But carry on.
Everyone spawns with a flashlight.
I'll steal your flashlight there.
Would you use it as well, Paul?
Just yours.
Please tell us.
I borrowed mine from Bio. You can have it back.
You borrowed, but you couldn't use it because all the instructions were in German.
It was worn out. It was absolutely worn out. I didn't touch the sides. I was like, I gotta get this back.
Oh, fucking hell. Jesus.
So anyways, my point being, before I got lewdly interrupted,
yes, what kept you going?
was that we would go to spawn areas with like fully kitted up, and we would like yell at these guys like, get on the fucking ground, just don't fucking move, we'll kill you. And people are like, all right, fine, I got nothing to lose, but whatever. And then the most interesting things would be like, all right, give us your flashlight. And they'd be like, what? Like, you should give us your fucking flashlight or we'll fucking kill you. And everyone started with the flashlight. So they would just drop their flashlight. We'd take the flashlight, we'd run away. And we would have a collection of newbie flashlights that we had. That's the kind of, we just did it for fun and would see if we could get around it. And the most interesting interactions we had was stuff that some people would give it up, some people would try to run away. And then some people would be like, I'm not giving you my fucking flashlight, because they think it's something unique or interesting that they have and nobody else has.
But the biggest observation, Paul, that we got out of this, it's team play.
Unity.
It comes back to community and team play.
It's community, team play, and emergent experience. I think that's what gets people to come back. A different experience every time.
Role play as well, I think, for a lot of people.
Well, this is I think
especially for guys like Miz and Paul that do also the Dungeons and Dragons thing, you know what I mean? It's nice to create content yourself as well, and that's what I mentioned a couple of times. You're gonna think of a backstory for your character. You're going to do things with your group, even if it is Dragonfly races, you know what I mean, Planet Side or whatever the hell you want to do, or have a rave in the back of your 600i, or sit in the corner lonely while everyone's dancing with their loved ones, you know what I mean? Or use a flashlight, whatever you want to do, you know. It might sound stupid, but I think a lot comes from your own mind as well. What are you going to create in the game? What is my backstory, you know what I mean? AstroPub, you know what I mean? The pub is a good example of it, you know what I mean? It's something that plays, and I will run around with pineapples screaming fucking tropical surprise everywhere.
Are we taking people on tours?
Should we go to these questions?
Let's get to this.
Let's get to this question.
It was a good discussion though about like what brings people back.
Yeah, well, this is I think that's it's a key. It's key for gaming. Like they talk about it all the time when they talk about building mobile games and stuff. It's all about I think again the phrase is wrong here, guys. So please don't chastise me when I say this. But it's sticky gaming. It's the idea of like keeping people kind of coming back and stuck to a game and continuing to come back to like I think things like Clash of Clans do it very well, and
WoW is a master at it.
WoW is exactly a master at it. It's just it keeps you. They do that. The microtransaction is one thing that people suck, but they still keep you fucking coming back to play it and keep you addicted. And that's the thing. That's the trick. It's the hitting that dopamine in your brain to keep you happy.
Definitely, I think that's a good one. It's a real good one. Question number one, Miss. Drum roll.
How do you think insurance with ship loaners, rentals, or loan to a friend, and it is damaged or destroyed, would there be covered or required additional insurance? And how would you think that affects the standings? I think he's just saying Revo Xer was asking that. I think he's just asking if someone else crashes your ship, basically.
Yeah, will your insurance cover it if you get?
I think so. Yeah,
most likely.
Yeah, I think
your ship is insured, not the person, basically.
It carries over with them, so you give it away, it goes with them. Yeah, it's
unless it's stolen.
Yeah. It's not your personal insurance.
Yeah, if it's stolen, they're planning on doing something. Well, didn't they? They said that if a ship gets stolen and then the person lands the ship on a station, then you'll get it sent back to you because technically the security police will catch up and take it back.
It can be very confusing though, because here in the UK you insure the person in a car, for example. In the Netherlands you insure the car, so I could drive my dad's car and still be insured because the car is insured.
You can do both. So if you've got money, you've got what's called full comp, or you can do third comp.
For me that was very confusing.
We have something similar in the United States where you can go insure, and some insurance companies will insure everything. Like I have my insurance company will cover me for rental cars. Like if a rental car gets totaled, my insurance company will cover for that rental. Yeah. But if say someone who's not on my policy, say like my dad, tries to drive my car and it wrecks it, then it may not necessarily cover it. So it depends on which insurance companies. But I think. If anything, CIG may make this a opportunity where you only get a certain payout if somebody else wrecks it rather than you. If you weren't in the ship
and maybe
when it
you
happened.
need to pay an additional cost because someone else wrecked it. Is that what you're
That's
saying?
interesting. Do you know what? That's because we're talking about like disconnecting and shit like that. Like, that opens up the way for potential avoiding insurance, like to screw your mates over or some weirdo like instantly boarded your ship or something. You could be like, "Oh, I'm going to disconnect, crash the ship. He has to pay for it. I don't have to pay for it."
Possibly, but at the same time, the way the insurance claims could work is easily just say that, hey, it wasn't me, it was stolen. It could still end up like that. Yeah. So it depends.
Maybe you can. They make a system where you can fight it basically, so you can put a. But that will create another job for people to do. If, for example, in iRacing, if you get a certain amount of points per race, incident points. But you can also fight a certain incident and send them a ticket and say, okay, I don't agree with that incident. This is why and why. These are the screenshots or these are the replays. Why? Maybe make it an algorithm with a system where you can say, okay, I fight that claim. You know what I mean? I don't agree with that claim. Could be an interesting one. You know?
Mm-hmm. What's the next question?
So question 2 is from the prisoner, and he says, I would be curious how much sub money they make. They seem to be open on game funding, but why not subs?
They are.
They told us.
There's a number. They make almost as much money. Like I watched it on if you go on Google, you can find out there's a place. The numbers have been done. It's staggering. They are like the top 5 richest monthly earning games of all the games in the world. Like, it's staggering. They make a shit ton of money from subs. A shit ton of money. That's why they still keep this. This is my biggest. All right, we're going on to a little bit of salt mining here, but I'm going to say it. Like, this is my biggest bug fucking bear. I hate the token system that Star Citizen has. I don't know why they whip us to play fucking Arena Commander, because this token that you run out, your rec runs out, and the token runs out, and you have to fucking farm shit. Reward people that want to play racing. Reward people that want to do, Vandal Swarm. Don't fucking whip them and say, hey, guess what? You haven't played enough, so we're going to take that shit away from you. I hate that. I really hate that.
That's right.
I really hate that. Sorry, I'm just saying. I really do. I just get rid of that. Seriously.
So question number 3 is from Rupert, whatever.
Rupture.
That's the one. I freaking speak stuff.
Rupert.
I'm old, okay? I'm old. I don't understand these things. We typed in letters when I was young. When do you hope to see forests, wildlife in the PU? As soon as 3.2, or in maybe 3 years, or perhaps never? Well, if it's never, I'd be extremely disappointed.
We're gonna see it. There's no way we're not going to see it.
No.
It's natively supported by CryEngine. It's not like it's.
Isn't it scheduled for? Is it scheduled for 2? Isn't it? Is actually scheduled for 3.2? Yeah. Because that's when they're trying to work on. Yeah, to work towards one of the actual planets that has pure vegetation and all that kind of. Yeah.
I get the feeling we're more likely to see right now a snow planet than we are to see a flora
for sure.
Planet right now.
Seriously.
But I really do hope we see vegetation.
What they said was that not all planets will be mono climates. Like the planet that we saw, the Lear 4 or whatever it was from CitizenCon last year, that had savannas, deserts, and forests that we saw. So it's definitely they're planning on having like varying climates depending on where you are, and it's not that complicated because Lear 4 had trees. The issue is more you have to, when you add in AI animals, they have to be unique. You can't have copy pasta animals, and you don't want to pull a No Man's Sky where you have derpy dinosaurs walking around everywhere.
That was fucking weird, to be honest.
I just saw we have underwater exploration.
Have you played Subnautica?
Yes, I've seen it, but I have not played it. But
okay,
yeah, that's what I want.
I agree. I think it would be fun. It'd be a lot of fun. We keeping you up, Astra?
No, I'm just dumb and been trying to get back on my normal schedule. I'd usually still be asleep now because I want to go to bed at like 6 a.m. But I actually have to go to work like a normal person tomorrow.
We are running over. We're running quite over at the moment.
But
it's understandable.
I think 3.2 is probably a good example. If not later, probably either 3.2 or 4.0. One of the two.
Definitely. Boys, what are we doing next week? Crucian.
Yeah, go for it.
Next week, or we mean like
what upcoming time? What are your plans? Do you have anything special planned? Where can people find you? When do you stream?
Dude, it's my life right now is boring since I'm by myself here. I'm waiting to obviously 2 months left, and then in the military here in the U.S. So until that, I usually never have anything planned. I usually stream every day, 5 p.m. Eastern. I got front page on Thursday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'll be playing Star Citizen, so it should be pretty fun.
Nice.
Other than that, man, I mean, I got not much going on. I'm a boring guy. But
aren't we all a little bit boring, to be honest?
Well, my life is a little bit until I get on the stream. That's when my life gets a little bit interesting.
Hey, you have a lot of energy, Crucian, and I love it, man. I love it, you know.
I appreciate it, man.
No worries. Miz?
I'm a bit addicted to Divinity Original Sin at the moment, so I'll probably be playing that more, and I'll be streaming that as well.
Do we still have Pain and Predo?
Pardon?
Do we still have Pain and Predo?
Yes, that should be tomorrow evening, if I can stay awake, because we keep finishing late. I've had like 2 a.m. finishes for the last 3 days in a row now, so...
Oh my god.
Yeah. So hopefully I'll be doing that tomorrow with Des.
Should be good. Biomechanical.
Yeah, I'm going to be getting my passport sorted out this week.
Oh, you're going to Germany?
Yeah, I need to get sorted out, ready for Germany, yeah. First citizen gone.
Nice.
You planning on streaming soon, or is your computer still in the making, or?
No, I plan to stream again, yeah. It's literally, like I said earlier, I've managed to fix the OBS problem. I think that's because you linked something to me, and it actually worked this time round. So it's got rid of all that crap that it kept saying HDCP, so it was picking up some safety program in the HDMI cable.
You need to say a doctor when it says that, man.
And basically what it would do, it's like a protection of stopping fraud. So it would stop you from recording stuff and making copies of DVDs or stuff like that, even though that's not what I was doing. And with the AVA media card, it doesn't switch that off. The AVA media card is pretty bad. When it comes to stuff like this. So eventually I'm going to upgrade, but it's going to cost me a lot of money to upgrade. But anyways, yes, I do plan on streaming again, so you will start seeing me more.
So I'll help Paul out here. You should be using XSplit, man, not OBS, man. That's what it is, you know.
No, OBS is fine. OBS is fine.
I use OBS. I think.
And this is my plea for people is OBS is a great service for what you pay for. It's absolutely free, so there's nothing wrong with it. However, when I was streaming with OBS, once every 2 weeks, it would break and just fuck everything up. And so I was like, you know what? I was developing a brand, and I really wanted to like become a partner and all that kind of stuff. And so I got XSplit because once a year, maybe twice a year, I have problems with XSplit. Just because, like Windows fucks something up and it messes with the XSplit situation.
All the time. Windows updates.
But overall, I can rely that if I boot up XSplit, it's going to work. Very rarely does it not work when I boot it up to film or to broadcast. And so that's the reason why I used it. And that's the reason why I became an elite. I just reached out to XSplit and said, hey, I love your product and I'd like to promote it. And they said, good job. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I've not had any problems with OBS. I've had problems with Windows 10 fucking everything up for me. So
yeah,
like for everyone, yeah.
Thank you, Microsoft.
Windows 10 literally killed my hard drive. It just destroyed all the software on it, and it made files corrupt. And then it went into this stupid boot mode where it wouldn't go past a certain point. Mm-hmm. And I had to wipe my whole entire hard drive.
What you want to do is, if you go to those certain websites, make sure you have AdBlock Plus on, man. That's
I don't go to those certain websites, mate. Like, my whole computer is clean of all that stuff, mate. You know.
That's
what mobile's for.
The honest thing is, you probably need new hard drives as well, just because hard drives do have a life expectancy,
exactly,
and like.
Yeah, I've got SSDs as well, so they're not as long.
They'll last like 2 years. Like I've been using I have hard drives which are like 5-6 years old.
My computer's not even a year old, mate.
Do you know what you want to use, dude? Like, I've got some old zip drives on my old G4.
Floppy disks.
Floppy disks.
That shit lasts forever.
My computer
That shit
is
never
too modern
breaks.
to be compatible with that.
It never breaks.
Oh my God. Paul, what are you doing the upcoming? What are your plans?
My plan is, as my wife just sent a tweet out, that it's National Cheeseburger Day, so I have to go eat some cheeseburgers. But
are you serious?
In the US, it's National Cheeseburger Day.
It's going to be that everywhere, not US.
Yeah.
It's a national day for everything.
Tomorrow, I will be eating cheeseburgers, guys, because it's National Cheeseburger Eating Day. I love that.
But other than that, I'm actually going to I'm trying something different that a couple of my friends have tried. So I'm setting a set schedule for a month and then rotating it out. But I always have some games I'm just not going to rotate out. So like my schedule starting this week is today I do Star Citizen, and on Friday I do Star Citizen. On Tuesdays I'm going to be doing Warframe because I've never done Warframe before, trying that out. And then on Thursday I'm going to try. I've been playing Wing Commander. It's a throwback Thursday. So once I get through with Wing Commander 1, I'll either do Wing Commander 2 or X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. Because going back and reviewing old sci-fi games, I think it's been really fun.
Can I ask you a question on the Wing Commander? Sorry,
sure.
I've never played the original. I played the worst one that everyone talks about, which is the Prophecy.
Wing 4?
Yeah,
the Prophecy. Yeah,
Prophecy one. Everyone hates that. I actually enjoyed it, but I didn't have any reference. Which one's your favorite?
Wing Commander 2 is my favorite.
Okay,
but a lot of people like Wing Commander 3 and 4 because because it had Mark Hamill in it as the as the main character Blair, and the movies were really well made for the time. I will say Wing Commander 1, totally not a shill. But I have been contacted by these guys to become a partner with them, so I want to say that legally I want to say that I have been contacted by these guys, but.
Okay.
You can get the entire Wing Commander series on GOG for like $30. And if you haven't played Wing Commander 1 and you're looking forward to Squadron 42, play Wing Commander 1. Because Wing Commander 1, Wing Commander 2, the Wing Commander series, it's important to see. Because Prophecy wasn't made by Chris Roberts. That was made by EA. But playing...
They have a tendency of fucking shit up as well, so...
But playing Wing Commander 1 and 2 and you seeing how he develops games, you get to get an idea of how the games will play, and how in-depth he likes to do it. Like Wing Commander 1's interesting concept is that when you log in, you're at a bunk. The bunks are your safe spots. The beds are your save slots. You can go to the bar and you can talk with the bartender and they'll give you some tips. Those are tips to how to play and beat the next mission. You can also talk to other pilots who also give you tips. Not always do they give you tips. Sometimes they just build lore. And someone's like, oh, the Kilrathi are in this system doing this. Or, hey, if you notice this ship will always turn left when you're attacking it. So just remember that when you're attacking it, so you can always go to left. And then there's actually like a briefing system. They go through a lot of the briefings. And I'm going in detail about this, but there's a lot you can learn about how Chris Roberts makes games. So if you're looking forward to Squadron 42, or you're like, I don't know if I'll enjoy Squadron 42, play Wing Commander. And it gives a huge nod to how the game will be developed. I guarantee it. But yeah, no. So that's my schedule for the rest of the month. And then in October with Madness, I'm going to be playing
Destiny
2.
Like I said, seriously, I'm not. I can't believe it's not next week. I'm really just distraught.
It's the end of October as well.
I think we need to jump back onto this flying ship game again as well.
If you don't believe my credentials, I'm more than happy to send over my scores, my kill rate, and my KDI. It's pretty impressive. So
I am a fucking casual in comparison.
He logs out every time he gets shot.
I played when they came out with Taken King expansion, where they had that package for $60 for Taken King and all the DLCs plus the original game. That's when I got into it.
Yeah, I got into it from King's Fall, and I just literally I played it. That was my shit before Star Citizen, dude. I literally played Destiny. That was it all the time. Loved it. So I'm very excited about Destiny 2. My mates are constantly pestering me to get it for the PlayStation. Now I know it's in a month. I'm going to go and buy it tomorrow on the PlayStation. I've got the deluxe on the PC, but I can't wait. This is ridiculous. I thought it was only a week. I can't. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Ruined it.
Well, man, we had everyone, did we?
Okay. You can ignore me. It's fine. No problem.
Oh man, let's go for it. Go for it.
Absolutely.
Apparently, he's going to start streaming Destiny 2.
Destiny 2. I was going to start it, and then you would have just literally ripped me a new one. I was going to be streaming Destiny at the end of the week. No, I'm meant to be traveling to Asia on Saturday, but it looks like that's changed now. So I'm going to be traveling to Asia the following week, and I was really excited about it because I thought I was going to get to play Destiny.
No, he just wishes he's gone to Asia earlier.
No, I just
delayed his Asia trip.
Let's talk a little bit more about how Madness is upset that he can't play Destiny 2 right now.
Don't you think he delayed his whole trip just so he could get a week's worth of playing Destiny 2 in?
It's all gone wrong.
All of the reviews for Destiny 2 say that it's actually a really good game.
If you want to play a good FPS game and not that pile of crap that's Star Marine, go and play Destiny. Seriously, Bungie know how to make really good FPS games. But I'm not joking.
Than an FPS,
when I play Star Marine, it reminds me why I love Destiny, why I love Modern Warfare, why I love that fast-paced action thing. If they turn Star Marine into the more armor, PUBG kind of battle royale, slower gameplay, I think that's where they should go. I genuinely think. I don't think they can hit the quality that these other games that have been doing it really well for multiple years. I just don't think they can do it. I think they need to go at a different angle. I think going after the COD is just clearly they can't do it. I really do. I don't think
they were even planning on going after COD. It was just a matter of this is what we could push out now.
Yeah, well, I hope not. It's right. So, but I'm going to be streaming. I'm not sure I'm streaming tomorrow because the lady's around, but we'll see. I might stream tomorrow, but otherwise it'll be Wednesday and Friday diner, and whenever I can.
Very
Come
nice.
Check me out. Star Citizen, as always, lots of dogfighting, lots of murder.
For myself, I will be playing a lot of iRacing this week. I will be streaming every day, 7 to 10 p.m. Back on the schedule, so definitely come and check that out if you're interested. Definitely follow all these guys that have been here today, Crucian and Astro. Thank you very much for being here. Really appreciate it. I think !pod team in the chat. There we go. Definitely go follow these guys on the Twitter, on the Twitch. Always good and great content. Also the main cast. Thank you all for being here, Miss Bio and Madness. Last but not least, a great day again. Everyone, thank you very much for the follows today and for the bits, #charity. I really appreciate that. Keep on that #charity going. It's very important stuff that we keep supporting that. Yeah, definitely go check out the VerseCon. A quick one as well, BritisonCon up and coming. Tickets are available on the BritisonCon website. I think I have VerseCon.
Yeah, we're going to have a BritisonCon special, I believe, coming up soon. 9th of October, so please come if you want to find out more. We're going to have the guys who created BritisonCon are going to be, one of the gentlemen, Chris, is hopefully going to be joining us, I believe. Is that right? Is it Chris?
Yeah.
Or is it
Chris?
Joining us.
Chris, yeah, and Mac as well, probably.
And Mac and everyone. I mean, we've all been. We all know how good it was. I won there. I'm the current defending champion.
Oh my God.
So I'm looking forward to going back again. It's great. Come and check it out and find out what's going to be. What the
Can you put the link to the VerseCon site in the chat for me?
Yes, yes, Paul. Oh, has anyone got it? Has anyone got the link? We'll
what is it? VerseCon.com? Paul?
.com, I think.
VerseCon.com, yeah?
VerseCon?
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
VerseCon.com.
VerseCon. Let's put it in.
There you go. Nexus put it in there.
Nexus is
for all
always
the American peoples, Texas peoples, definitely go check that out. Some great art done by Jay Lee, and it's going to be a great event. Knowing the guys that are organizing it, so definitely go and check that out as well. We're going to do the hosty thingy.
Yeah, good. Redler's on. Redler.
So let's have a look. Who do you guys want to host?
Yeah, Redler.
Have we got anyone that's like literally a noob though? I always love hosting noobs.
So we had the guy that was in chat earlier, which I saw. There's his TV.
Yeah, he's on right now. I've seen him on in the game a little bit.
Shall we go give him a raid? I think he's
English speaking.
English
yes,
speaking,
give him a host. Yeah, let's host him.
Yeah.
There you go. Put the raids in the chat.
The guy's
Raids in
got
the
wider
chat.
teeth. He's got
Dave,
so
he's
much
like-
teeth.
He's
got
like,
such- wow.
he's like, what's that guy's name with the hat? It's like his brother.
I was gonna say, has anyone watched?
My chest brother.
Nice one. Let's give him
Well,
some love.
I wasn't going to be so complimentary. I was going to go with Dwayne Dibley, but we can carry on. It's fine.
Give him a host. Give him some love. He was here earlier as well, supporting us.
It's so nice.
Let's give him some love, guys. Thank you very much all for being here.
Let's hit it.
We'll see you next week. We're gonna hit that button. Bear with me.
Go for it.
We're gonna say, see you around the verse.
And bear with me because my thing is not working again. My stupid Frankfacers does not want to.
Is that Destiny 2 for PC only
Does
started
not
on?
want to work. Let me. So
Yes.
Let's host.
Yes.
There is.
Yes. Don't
TV.
remind me.
Kicking the nuts before he
There
goes.
we go. See you
Don't
later, guys.
remind me.
Thank you very much. See you next time.
Bye.
Yes. Thank you.